when I change strings or I switch from like an Easton axis to I shoot Nexus Infinity shafts.
Okay.
I got them for free, so I'm shooting those. They're really great arrows. I usually bare shaft tune it to start with, just to like make sure everything's squared away, especially when I do new strings.
Okay.
I don't know why, I just always do it. I slapped the speed broadhead on. Landon and I got a bunch of speed broadheads for this season, and I slapped one of the crosscuts on, and I let it fly at 40 yards, and I watched my arrow do this number right here and hit. I was like, oh, that's new. Didn't notice that before. And then after that, everything I shot was left. No matter what I did, I would make little tweaks to my sight. Everything was left. So I was like, this is just pissing me off. So I cut off one of my fletchings, and I take the bare shaft, and I shoot it at 20 yards. I almost shoot off the target.
Yep.
Left. Dude, that thing was, I mean, it was monstrous. It was probably a 6 to 8 inch tail right kick coming out of that bow. I can honestly say I've never had a bare shaft fly like that in my life.
Brand new strings. How many shots were on the strings?
Maybe 100 tops so far.
Okay, so pretty much settled, right? I mean, they're not really moving a whole lot there, right?
No.
But when you change strings, you know, correct
go
me if
into
I'm
this, 'cause
wrong,
I
the length of that broadhead is probably pretty long, the ferrule length.
What would you say? Like
I put it side by side,
and a half, maybe an inch and a quarter.
Hypodermic, and it was just a little bit longer.
Just a little bit longer.
I mean, it's an inch, and it's yay.
I don't know what the hypodermic is. But.
And then you have the blade on top of it. So if you include it, it's probably about that big. It's a big broadhead.
And I mean, same knock fit.
Yeah, everything. Nothing has changed. The arrow is completely level. Soft knocks are just fine. Shot it when I installed the soft knocks. Then took it back in the shop and checked to make sure that my D loop didn't move at all, because that happens sometimes.
Sure.
Everything's still level. I think it's
timing's good. Everything's good.
Yeah, everything else on the bow is fine.
Dialed.
The rest is in the center. It's in the center of the riser on the little notch. Everything's fine. I'm borderline like, because we talked about this a minute ago, and you already know, I'm borderline freaking out. I'm like, I have to take this thing and put it on the press and shim it over now. I was ready to come home from work today and do it just to make sure that I had some peace of mind.
What spined arrow?
It's a 300. So,
but you're shooting 80 pounds.
Yeah.
And your draw length's
30.
30?
30 and a half, really.
That's a pretty weak arrow.
Yes.
Like, I shoot 80 pounds, and I've got a 30-inch draw length, and I'm shooting a 250.
See, my Easton Axis are 260, and they fly darts.
Your arrow is just too weak.
There's
so you would too much energy going into the system. You're breaking down the spine. That thing's off target. You wouldn't hunt with
that this year? Or
not at all. Never.
Do you think it's possible for me to straighten it up?
No.
Then do you want some arrows? Because I have a bunch of arrows I can't use.
You need a stiffer. Okay, so think about it like this: if you were to shoot those, you could get it to where it'll hit, right? Mm-hmm. Great. But now that arrow's hitting, but it's hitting at an angle. So now all of that energy, right? All that kinetic energy is no longer driving.
It's slapping.
It's hitting, and then it's breaking that spine down. And now, not only are you changing the angle, the way it's entering, right? But you're also just dumping all that energy into nothing.
What arrows do you shoot?
I shoot Parallel Pros. I've shot those for...
What brand is that?
Easton's.
Oh, okay.
So like the AC, it's got the aluminum core and then it's wrapped with the carbon.
Got it.
I shot those, I think I started shooting those in 2024, went to Africa. I loaded them up.
Okay.
Basically looking at 540 grain arrow.
Oh, so that doesn't make me feel that bad. Mine are 535.
Yeah.
And you're still shooting that?
Yeah.
Good.
Because I can shoot anything on the planet with it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't change. Honestly, I'm still shooting an RX-8 because I like the draw cycle. I mean,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Maybe the new bow coming out from Hoyt, that might be pretty interesting.
What is that?
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, yeah.
But, but it's a bow that I'm confident with, right? Like, I know that I can go, it doesn't matter if it's whitetail, it doesn't matter, like I'm fortunate enough to get that sheep hunt, got drawn for sheep, pretty awesome,
we'll
pretty
talk about
excited,
that,
I'm sure. But I can take it anywhere on this continent, and I can go be successful. I can take it to Africa, I can go be successful. You know, the idea of needing to shoot like 90 pounds at my draw length, probably not necessary, right? But 70 pounds, I've shot that for years, and I did a lot of hunting and was very successful at 70 pounds. 80 pounds, I don't, with as much as I shoot and the way I shoot, I don't feel like I'm stressing, or I wouldn't be able to draw that, you know, without, you know, really over exaggerating motions and movements, things of that nature. It's still controlled. So if I'm sitting in a ground blind or a tree stand, or, you know, just, hey, that doe's got me pinned, like, I don't feel like I'm going to be making too much movement to draw that bow. You know, you see a lot of guys and they're trying to jack up poundage. Yeah, you put those things away. I don't think those are legal here. But you see a lot of extra motion, extra movement, right? And then there's just no control, and it takes them so long to get onto target. Now try and do that with an animal. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You have such a small window, right? And all of that movement, they've keyed in on it and they're out of there. Or at least they're keyed up to where, you know, they're going to want to react to the sound of the bow going off.
All that because I asked about some weak spined arrows.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Way too weak.
I'll just resight in. I'll go back to I have
You're going to shoot the Easons?
30 some odd Easton Axis 5mm. Great arrow, by the way.
Yeah.
One of so this is stupid. This is even more stupid than my 80-pound story. John Dudley talked about Easton Axis 5mm till his face turned blue, and he still shoots them. He's got his own like knock-on Easton Axis, and I was like, oh, they've got to be a great arrow. Bought a dozen, shot them. Somebody was like, why do you shoot an Easton Axis? I was like, because Dudley told me to.
I do a lot of stuff because he does it.
But they're great arrows. They
are an absolutely acceptable arrow for hunting.
They destroy a target. Let me tell you, when you slap a practice broadhead on those, like the Nexuses that I'm shooting, I'll shoot a target, and 8 inches will be sticking out, if so, maybe more. Those Easton Axis, brand new target, will bury to the fletchings, and they will rip a target apart. I keep hitting that wire and moving it. But all right, we got a couple things to talk about before we get too down the rabbit hole. A couple of events we have coming up, not a Sitka-related event, but an event that we're all pretty excited about. The RMEF banquet here in Cornelius. That's August 28th. That's a Friday night. We're not giving away the tags there. They're not talking about, well, they might talk about the tags. They're not going to vote or do a register. Like, the tags are not getting sold off there. I got to clear that up. I've had people message me on Instagram asking, are the tags going to be auctioned off then? I'm like, no. However, you will hear a lot about them. And then here in the store the very next day, we have a whitetail expo from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Vendors, beer, because, not food. We're not doing that. Caitlin's shaking her head. But a lot of good things concerning whitetail season, whitetail properties, and a bunch of other vendors are going to be here in the store. And then 2 months after that, Waterfowl Expo, October 10th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Same deal. A lot of waterfowl vendors, a lot of duck hunting vendors, things like that. So come hang out. And if anything, if you're not even interested about buying or getting access or anything, it's a good place to come and hang out and shoot the with the team here, as well as all these other vendors that you might not have access to any other way. But we're back. We're in the store. You just watched the episode with me and Dale Perry and Jeff Cordero, Evolution Outdoors and Barefoot Archery, talking all things the 2026 aero ballistics study. We dove into that hard and basically summed the entire thing up in one sentence, and the podcast should have taken 5 minutes, and it took over 2 hours. So, but we're here with Mr. Chris Webster, who is you said it on the phone, you're the United States Olympic archery coach for a specific region. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So, yeah, for 2024, I was the head coach for going into Paris for the games, the Olympics there. Right now, I'm the national head coach for the National Elite Program, which is here in Charlotte. So I've got 4 men, 4 women that train full time in the pursuit of the Olympic Games. And then I'm actually the assistant national head coach. The main head coach is in Chula Vista. Elias, he came over from Spain. He's basically the Spanish version of me. He's a pretty awesome guy. Really happy to get him here. I'm going to be honest, I just didn't want to move back to California.
Oh, yeah.
So, but we're super happy. Had a lot of success. Like, he's really been the right call. So very awesome. Happy to see him. But yeah.
So you're not necessarily, there's not like an official United States Olympic archery coach. You kind of get put in that position.
Correct.
With whoever contends for the games.
Well, so I work for USA Archery.
Yes.
And I'm one of 2 national head coaches.
Okay.
National coaches, right? So Elias is there, I'm here, and both of us will go to LA. So
Got
I've been
it.
to Tokyo and been to Paris. In Paris, I was the head coach. Tokyo is the assistant. And then going into this, I'll be the assistant again.
Got it. So do you have anybody that's like, that you think's going to get gold this year?
Yeah, that's kind of the name of the game, right?
Well, I mean, there's some people like, oh yeah, you totally, dude. I have to tell people that all the time in CrossFit. They're like, oh, can I make a run for the games? I'm like, yeah. No.
We're very fortunate, right?
Good.
In the States, we've got a lot of really dedicated shooters, people that give up a lot in the pursuit of Olympic medals. Very, very blessed in that regard. We've got Casey Kaufhold, who's, a consistent top 5 in the world. Brady Ellison, number 1, number 2. He's kind of flip-flopping right now, but he's working through some things. I mean, he's probably my number 1 candidate for a medal.
Heck yeah.
I mean, he took silver individually.
Brady just seems like
he
a
and
name you
Casey
need on the
took-
podium.
What's that?
Brady just seems like a name you need on the podium.
He was on the podium.
He was. I mean, he took an individual silver. He missed out by 1 millimeter against Kim Woo-jin.
Yeah, you were telling me that on the phone.
Yeah.
What other country besides us has like a rock star archery program?
Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going
hands
to say
down.
it has to be one of the Asian countries.
Hands down, Korea. China's really put a lot of money into their programs as well. Chinese Taipei, but Turkey's got a great program. Germany's got a pretty good program. Spain's got a solid program. France is in there. Like everybody at this level, they're putting a ton of money, a ton of effort into this. That's kind of what's so impressive about us is all of these other countries are supported by their governments.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving government funding. There is no government funding for the Olympic movement in the United States.
It's all the sheer will to compete, isn't it?
It's all of that, and then
United States
sponsorships
drive.
and support and that stuff. There is money that comes from the USOPC, but it's not to the tune of what those folks are making, right?
Yeah.
Like in Korea, you're talking about folks that are making well over 6 figures.
Shooting a bow,
Yes, shooting a bow. They're rock stars over
stick
there.
and string, that's nuts.
When my athletes go over there, I have to pull security for them because they're signing autographs. It's
Yeah.
televised. It is a professional sport at the highest level. I promise you.
When we
Here in
go
the
to
States-
foreign countries, to do
Correct.
this. Wow.
Absolutely.
But here they're like, oh, it's,
Here it's just archery.
you can do it in your backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so it's such a stark difference in how we treat it. It is a professional sport. It is in the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, there's like Hyundai has a corporate team.
What did he just say?
Honda.
Hyundai.
Hyundai. Am I saying Hyundai wrong? Are you talking about a car?
I'm talking about a car.
I've been saying it wrong my whole life.
What do you say?
Hyundai. Because they said it like that in Fast and Furious. He's like, what you think I'm going to let you ride? A Hyundai Elantra?
Oh my word.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
think about
it's
how
in
I
the
say it
movie.
now. I'm trying
It's
to.
in the movie. It's, what's his name? The Asian guy it's in Tokyo Drift. When he gets in like the racer.
Yeah.
Like the souped up drifter.
I can honestly say I've never seen that movie.
You're missing out.
I don't think I am.
You're missing out.
I don't think so.
You're not missing out. The Tokyo Drift's like the last good one. Then they just get crazy. But one thing that popped in my head when you were talking a second ago, like over there, you got the government dumping money into programs. So I can see how someone comes from, I kind of want to learn more about this. Maybe I want to get into some sort of, like my son's getting ready to play flag football through, it's a government program. It's
Sure.
it's a municipality program. I can see how someone in that setting goes through a municipality or like a state program to learn how to shoot and start shooting competitively. Do you see people here that, because that's not a thing here to my understanding,
It
but
is.
it probably, you probably get a bigger feed of people coming in through like the bow hunting world. Yes, no, am I looking too much into that?
No.
Okay.
Think about it. Like we're kind of in separate worlds, right? Like we're talking about tournament archery, World Cups, World Championships.
Get
Pan
you
Am,
guys, and
Olympic
then you
Games.
got me.
And
you,
then
you
and
know?
then you've got the hunting aspect of things, right? Like we're the closest thing you guys are kind of thinking of target is like an ASA, which is target archery.
Yeah.
I mean, those aren't live animals, right? Like you're scoring rings, like
Yeah.
it's the same thing. But that separation is when you look at the opportunities like in schools. So there's Junior Olympic Archery in the schools programs. There's NASP. There's S3DA stuff. There's Olympic archery like support programs that will be in schools where, you know, whether it's USA Archery supporting it or other entities, but it's kids can come in, they can get exposure to that, they can, you know, shoot a bow, and there's a bit of a pipeline to go all the way you know, let's say to the Olympics, kind of that grassroots to gold medals type
Yeah,
of a vibe, right? That absolutely exists. It's just, it's not well adopted. The problem we have in the States is people look at archery as a weapon, right? I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, right? But when you look statistically, right, kids shooting archery, one, it's the most adaptive form of sport. I mean, when you look at the para side of things, you want to talk about human interest piece. Like you watch somebody with no arms and one leg shoot a bow.
Yeah, and
That
drill
blows your
axes at
mind,
70,
right?
yeah.
And that makes you look inward and really assess how hard you got it and how much you should actually be pushing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you take that aspect of it, and then you look at all the opportunities. Anybody and everybody can shoot a bow. We can accommodate to anybody. Doesn't matter what limitation you have, we can overcome it.
Yeah.
Right. But there's the stigma that it's a weapon, right? So a lot of municipalities and stuff, they want to stay because there's a liability, right?
Yeah.
But more kids are injured. Like there's almost zero injuries in archery, like almost zero. Like it's astronomical how low it is because of how safe we implement everything, right?
Worst thing that can happen is you burn your finger pulling an arrow out because you pulled
That,
it too
or
tight.
you know, if somebody really did something, they derailed or something like that, but they're lower poundage bows, so you're not really worried about hurting somebody. It might leave a red mark or something along those
Oh,
lines,
that's my favorite.
right?
When
But
somebody picks up my bow and they're like, "Oh, let me shoot it," I watch them crank that thing in there. I'm like, "You're about to have an electric surge." To your
well,
forearm.
at 80 pounds, yes, and the
This
kids
is
ain't
when I was
doing
shooting
that.
70. This is an old bow. My brother-in-law picked it up and cranked that wrist in and grabbed it just like this, and I was like, 3, 2, 1, and he almost dropped it, and I was like, "No!" But keep going. Sorry.
But there are some opportunities for kids, you know, like you can go on USA Archery's website. There's, you know, search functions there. Like if you have any questions, comments, concerns, like what's available around me, even down to coaching, they have all that. You just plug it in and it'll populate whatever you want to know. So there's that. There's you know, the NAS stuff is pretty big, S3DA. These are all geared towards schools. And then there's, you know, kind of that layer after that would be the collegiate options, right? Like,
Can you go to college, like on a scholarship?
there are a handful of schools that do that.
That's pretty
yes.
cool. That's
So
pretty cool.
you could go and do that. I don't know about the extent of the support for that. Like, is it a full ride? I honestly can't speak to that. But
It's like swimming at most schools. Most schools you can get a
Right.
scholarship for swimming, but it's
Or
not gonna be a
golf.
full scholarship. Yep.
right?
Yep.
Same,
Who
right?
plays golf? Landon's a big golfer. Landon's a big golfer.
He does too.
Why does this happens all the time?
Only models golf, I guess. You know what I
Bro,
mean?
look
You-
at-
Majority of the people that we bring on are golfers for some reson.
Archery and golf are like this, though, bro.
I can
promise
see it.
you.
But man, archery just allows you to run around a little bit more.
If he think he's a tinker with archery,
No, I know.
get into
everyone-
golf.
Everyone in my
Shambo
family,
2.0 right there, dude.
everyone in my family is a golfer, and all they do at like family gatherings is like you can just see them over there. You can't hear them, but you just see them doing this, and and they're doing this, and you're like, that. Y'all are talking about golf. That's all you do is tinker with your grip, tinker with your putt. Like, oh man, I'm gonna turn it this way.
Golf and archery are probably the most similar.
And
as
that's
far
why
as
they
the
created
mindset
tack.
and mentality.
That's why they created tack so that you could have the redneck version of golf. But for
I mean,
men.
it's just an adaptation of field archery.
It is, but still, just go with me for a second.
No. I'm not conceding
Do
that.
you shoot tack?
Yeah, I've shot tack many times. When I lived in Utah, I mean, that's kind of the birthplace of it. Right there.
Yeah.
Go up to the top. It was awesome. Absolutely love that stuff.
How hard is it for you to like walk around watching these guys shoot and being like, "Urgh."
Oh, I love it, man, because they're out there doing it.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for that. The more people shooting a bow, I love tack events. I love, you know, this bow fest, all of this stuff. Like this is great. More exposure, more people shooting a bow.
Do you
More
not just
people
wanna
bringing the
fix-
community?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Are you like biting your
everyone's-
fingernails off trying not to tell someone about their form?
No.
Or if you wear a coach that says,
Very
you wear a
much-
shirt that says, I'm an archery coach for the
No.
United States. Don't talk to
Stop.
me.
The best is most people like they don't know, and that's the best. 'Cause
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I'm just normal.
another guy.
and
You're
nobody's
another
asking me, and nobody's like, "Hey, can you help me? Can you do this?" And you're like, "Yes,"
I
but at
hope-
some point you have so much time you can give,
I
right?
hope to God that one day I get to shoot with you there. Because I'm just going to tell everybody at every hole, hey, man, he's an Olympic archery coach.
That's all right. I'm gonna tell him you're a CrossFit Olympian.
Yeah.
Those don't exist. Actually, they do. That we had a female compete in I can't remember which games it was. It might have been the Paris Games. She competed in the Paris Games in Olympic lifting, and then no, it was the other way around because the Olympics were after the CrossFit Games that year. She won the CrossFit Games. A few weeks later, went and competed in Olympic weightlifting, and I think got gold in her weight class in the Paris Olympics. It was pretty bad, pretty awesome. Tia Claire Toomey, bad to the bone chick. But if you couldn't tell, this is all going to be about archery. This is all going to be about bow hunting. Well, a little bit about bow hunting, a lot about like the archer and the archer setup and overlaps you see between competitive shooting and the bow hunting world, things like that, things that popped in my brain. But anyways, we're going to be talking about Chris's background, training the Olympic standards, things like that, and then how we can, I don't want to say dumb that down because you got a lot of overlap from what I understand, the competitive archery world in the bow hunting world. So it's not really dumbing it down, but there's a lot of lessons to be learned here.
Oh, for sure.
So things like that I want to dive into. But where'd you grow up? How'd you get to where you are today? Go in that route first before we go too deep of a rabbit hole.
I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and yeah, shot a bow my whole life. There's pictures of me in diapers with a bow on me, like my dad's bow on me. So my dad shot professionally. My brother shot. It was just a family thing that we did. So it's like you just kind of grew up with it. And I remember being, 8, 10 years old and shooting against the men. You know what I mean? Like,
that's cool.
It's just shoot.
Yeah.
It's totally normal.
Let's see what you got to look forward to.
Oh,
Landon's got a little boy coming soon.
I know. I heard. Congrats, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been shooting since I was that little, but I'm not on this guy's level. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Where'd I go wrong?
Exposure, right? Like you weren't dragged along to tournaments.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do t-ball. I didn't do, soccer and like all of that type of stuff, right? We went to archery tournaments. Like that's just what we did, man. So it was totally normal. Everybody else playing baseball or football or something over there, I'm over there shooting a bow. It's like, yeah, I probably missed out on some things too.
Real life
things over here. Can't do it all,
yeah.
I guess.
But so shot for a number of years, competed, did well as a youth shooter, right? Actually ended up tearing cartilage in both my shoulders. Didn't shoot a bow for like 6 months.
Because of shooting? Because of archery?
Because of archery.
Okay.
Because trying to do something improperly, actually. And that kind of set me on this path a little bit. But I didn't shoot for 6 months. And then when I picked up a bow again, I just didn't want to compete. So I just hunted. Hunting in Arizona, you've got javelina, there's coos deer, mule deer. Sky's the limit if you can get drawn. And as a youth, we had a lot of opportunities like that, right?
Yeah.
Which
Youth
was
out here,
awesome.
a dime a dozen.
But, during that time, like, you could go up on the Kaibab, and it was over the counter for mule deer. Like, that was a good time to be alive.
Kaibab. That's
how many years
The
ago?
northern rim of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's I remember the South Kaibab, called it Kaibab Trail. Yeah, that's where it just jogged something in my memory. Keep going, sorry.
Going up there, like, as a young kid with, little blunts on the arrows and shooting those Kaibab squirrels. They got, like, weird little tufts on their ears.
Yes.
They're super cool. But, yeah, just growing up doing that stuff. And then found a girl, really liked her, decided in 2 weeks I was going to marry her. This is me at 22.
Heck yeah.
And then, yeah.
Are you still married to her today?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's all. When you know, you know.
20 years together.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
When's
you.
your anniversary?
January 1st.
Don't
forget that one.
Sappy son of a gun.
You can't forget it.
No, you cannot. You cannot. I get mine mixed up all the time. My wife and I, we started dating, like we went on our first date May 17th, and we got married May 18th. Not the next day.
Years.
I was
going to
say, this is impressive.
But like, it was hilarious when she was telling me when the venue was available, because everything's based off your venue. It's all that crap. And she was like, oh, it's in May. And I was like, oh, that's close to our anniversary. And she was like, it's actually the next day. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I can't tell you how many anniversary notes I've written her on May 17th, getting the dates mixed up.
Yep.
And she's like, honey, it's tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, but at least I'm thinking about it.
You get brownie points for that, I'm sure.
Yes. So how did that land you where you are as a coach today?
So actually ended up joining the Army. I moved with my girlfriend or fiance at the time to Lubbock, Texas with her family, which I don't know if you've ever been there. I wouldn't suggest it.
No, it's no longer a dry heat.
Well, just in general, very flat.
Yeah.
It's just, it wasn't for me. So tried to find jobs. Nothing really panned out. So I ended up joining the Army. So that's how good Lubbock, Texas was.
Hey, I'd rather go fight wars.
But so went there, deployed to Iraq, all that good jazz. Came back, re-enlisted, ended up going to Fort Carson. I tried to get her to go to Alaska.
What years was this? 2000.
So I joined in 05, deployed 06 to 08 as a 14-month deployment. Came back and then changed duty stations. Like I said, tried to go to Alaska, but she wasn't down with it.
Yeah. You missed out.
Becky was like, not happening, no. But you can hunt up there as a resident if you're stationed there. So I tried, but my next choice was Colorado Springs. So got stationed there, got attached to 4th ID, and then just kind of going through everything, found out that there was the World Class Athlete Program out of Fort Carson. I got picked to go to an IRT, so an individual replacement training unit.
Okay.
So it was training up guys to go into theater and replace other guys.
Got it.
So they didn't get to go to like NTC and like all of that type of stuff. So we would train them up there on Carson, and then they'd get shipped downrange. Found out about this, got sign off from, the first sergeant that, hey, if you want to pursue this, this is cool. Like, this is great. Like, I could train in my off time. So I basically took a year, started shooting an Olympic recurve again, got nationally ranked, and then basically had everybody I know write me a letter of recommendation to support
for a coaching gig.
Well, no. This is to be in the World Class Athlete Program.
Oh, okay.
And
So
shoot
to
a bow for
compete.
the
Got
Army.
Wow. Okay,
So-
I totally missed that. I guess you used too many acronyms.
My bad.
I'm tracking now. That's cool.
My bad.
That's really cool.
So-
Way cooler than I thought.
You got to dumb it down.
I thought you were just flexing with 3-letter acronyms.
No,
FBI's
yeah,
coming
sorry,
next.
my bad. But yeah, so just had the opportunity to do that. I did that for 2 years, and then ended up getting out.
What does that entail, shooting a bow for the Army?
I was a remote athlete, so I was able to go back to Arizona. We bought a house there, and I just trained full time. And I would call in and report, and I would go to events.
Yeah.
And that's
He's
what I
not.
did.
He's not in Iraq. Just
Kind of like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, he was a little bit better than me though. Because I mean, come on, man. Like, I don't know.
I don't know why as soon as you said shoot my bow for the Army, I was just sitting there watching Forrest. Just get after it.
He was pretty good, man.
There's so
If
many
he
cool
was
things
real,
you
he'd
can
be
do.
good.
Like the people that were singing the national, like at the White House for the UFC things. Those people that were singing were just like better than professional singers
Yeah.
that I know. But they're in the Army.
Well,
Yeah,
pretty
go.
cool.
they got a band, they got all of that. But there's wrestlers, there's boxers, there's
That's awesome.
if you're of that caliber and you have that potential, there's an opportunity, to be supported and do that, and kind of flying the flag of the U.S. Army,
Yeah.
which is pretty awesome honor.
Yeah,
I
which
think.
is wild because you usually only hear that when they talk about like Army versus Navy football.
Sure.
Or like Army versus Air Force. You don't ever hear about it in sports like this.
Yeah. So any Olympic sport, if you're high enough nationally and they think you have potential, you might want to look into it. If anybody listening and they're active duty. So yeah, did all that good jazz. Continued to shoot. Made a push for Rio in 2016. Actually went to Chula Vista, which is the Olympic Training Center in California. I was a resident athlete there for 2 years leading up to the Rio Games, and I would drive back every weekend, every other weekend, 4.5 hours back to Surprise, Arizona, and see my family.
Surprise.
So, yeah, I married. We got that part, but I also have 2 kids. So
During this.
oh yeah,
So you would go to California during the week, and then on the weekends you would drive back.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old were your kids?
I mean at the time, 7 and 9.
Your wife is a saint.
Oh, she's a badass.
Yeah. No chance my wife would let me do that.
No, you know what? Everybody finds everybody for a reason. And
Yeah.
I found her, and
Yeah. I'm totally kidding, by the way. If like with this, she's like, hey, go do it. Just do it. Rock star. Great women's awesome.
She's awesome. I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for her. Like truly, like
Yeah.
I have no shame saying that. Like as much as I do, like without having her and knowing where she's at and her support.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck, man.
What is it? What is the saying behind every good man is a woman saying, I told you so, or something like that?
Yeah, something like
The
that.
most important decision you'll ever make is your significant other.
Yeah.
That
We're not
going
gonna
to
go
choose
down-
for life.
We're
But,
not
yeah.
going to go down the rabbit hole of, this whole prenup and divorce thing. But anyways, keep on trucking. How did you go from competing for the Army to where you are now?
Yeah. So was an RA, trained, went to all the events, decently ranked. I did okay. I think I put too much pressure on myself because of what I had, I felt like I just had something to prove, like I had to, right? Because of stepping away from family and obligations there. And yeah, so
gotta work.
I would have done it differently if hindsight was a thing, right? But we ended up staying in Arizona for a little bit there, and then I had gotten out, gone back, and got an opportunity to work at Hoyt. So I worked at Hoyt for 4 years, did research and development for them.
And he was a poster boy.
I was.
That's a lot of people's dream job, was it?
Yes, it is.
It was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like being able to work on projects, like develop stuff, like get your name on patents and
that's
all
pretty
those cool things, right? And actually see stuff that you helped develop or you developed, and then see it in the market and see people, winning tournaments or taking big animals with it and just, enjoying the product and seeing that it works and that it's viable and better. And, it was a real easy way to kind of value myself as far as, a success metric, right? Being able to sit there and say like, I did this, right? And kind of being geared that way. And then in 2019, prior to that, helping other athletes kind of behind the scenes, coaching, but not coaching.
Yeah.
So word of mouth came. The CEO at the time of USA Archery had heard about me. He knew me, but through the grapevine, he was asking like, who's going to be the next, coach? Who are we going to bring in? So he headhunted me in 2019. I ended up going to the World Cup in Berlin as the head coach. We had a lot of success there, and then they ended up offering me the job. So yeah, and then I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah.
So kind of random, super weird. I would honestly tell you, I have no idea how I got here other than every time that door opened and it felt right, I just stepped through it.
The grace of God.
You got to pray on it, right? Like
amen.
you got to give direction. Like if you're just out there and floating in the ether and you have no direction, like good luck.
It's like there's a scripture about that, ships tossed
something like
in
that.
the sea. So my question is like, what does an Olympic archery coach do? Because I come from a football background.
Mm-hmm.
I know what my coaches do, and
Sure.
I know what I do for my athletes at CrossFit competitions or preparing for a CrossFit competition. Like, what the heck are you doing? Like, are you like, hey, hit the center? You got to hit the center.
No.
They're like, don't hit over there, hit the center. I'm totally
maybe
kidding.
when I coach you, I'll do it that way.
Just hit the center, Jake.
So it resonates with you and you can tie it back to what you've learned.
When we shoot against your athletes, if I shoot a broadhead, does my point of impact with the broadhead help? Like,
we're gonna need that 2-inch cut.
can I have the 2-inch gap?
No broadheads.
Yeah.
Not on these targets.
I know
The
we're not gonna make
whitetails.
your targets.
You'll never get it out.
Oh, is it one of those?
It's the spiral wrap style.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
not what you
We'll
want
have
for a
to-
broadhead.
we'll have to-
I'll bring a broadhead target out and you could shoot at that.
No, I'm totally kidding. We wouldn't do that. But what does your role look like as like competition weekend? What are you telling your athletes? Like what level of coaching? What does a coach do in an Olympic archery
Everything
world?
has to happen before you ever get to the event,
Okay.
right?
So your job is more so in practice when you're training.
Well, it's twofold, right?
Okay.
So, if you just train somebody, that's great. And then you don't train the connection, right? So let's say if you're training up and we're doing, let's say you're shooting 1,200 arrows a week, right? Every day you're shooting arrows, boom, 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 run through different drills. There's aim off drills where it's like calm conditions, but I don't want you to hit the middle. I want you to aim right 8. There's a scoring rings and everything like that. We've all seen those targets, right? So you got gold, red, blue, right? And I'll tell them like, hey, I want all your arrows in the blue, 10 ring height. And you're just shooting across the target, doing those types of things like shoot from one ring to one ring and try and get an arrow in each one. The whole idea is to just get you out of that comfort zone of sitting in the middle, right? Because when we're shooting Olympic style, you're talking a bow that's doing 200 to 210 feet a second, not very fast.
You're not running.
So you get a 5 to 10 mile an hour crosswind, like you're aiming considerably off.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're out there in the blue. So you have to be able to keep that sight picture and be able to fire that shot and trust that arrow is going to have that drift. Right. So freeing the mind and getting them into those types of thoughts and feelings where it doesn't matter where I have to aim, I just have to execute. But so obviously strength conditioning aspects, we do nutrition, sports psych, right? There's rehab stuff, like they get dry needle cupping, all of these things.
Very steep mental game. just as much as it is physical. If not, maybe a little bit more.
Well, once you get to their level, so, we talk about training, they have to physically be strong enough to shoot the arrows, right? So they can maintain form, right?
Yeah.
And now they've got to do it under stress. So we try and induce stress in training. That can't quite replicate what you get in a tournament, because that's a unique feeling. Like it's an honor and a privilege to feel what that is.
Fatigue and nerves are not the same thing.
Correct. So we push to fatigue, and then what's really interesting is what happens is once you push yourself to that point, you only have one option to shoot that bow, because you're under compression. Like, it's not like a compound 80 pounds, right? You draw that sucker back, but you have let off.
Yeah, you're holding like
Olympic recurve, you're just holding it. Right? So let's say one of my athletes shooting 50 pounds, he's just holding 50 pounds at full draw.
Which is impressive.
Hundreds of times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't think about that.
In CrossFit, would you sit there and draw back or lift a kettlebell 300 times?
I wouldn't want to.
You wouldn't want to.
No.
But that's what these athletes are doing every day.
Yeah.
Right?
And not to mention, they're specializing.
They're correct.
In the CrossFit
and
world,
there's control.
Yeah. Well, we say never specialize, because what happens, go back to your analogy of lifting, let's say I'm doing a row with a 50-pound dumbbell and I only use my right side.
Yeah. You're going to be asymmetrical.
I'm going to be asymmetrical, but also I'm going to start developing unbalances, which cause pain and discomfort and issues. And now your skeletal muscular system
and that's
is changing.
the issue we fight with.
Yeah.
Because we are asymmetrical.
Yeah.
Not only are you having that in practice, but you probably have to train the other way as well.
We do that with our strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
Right. So, they try and balance the body out. They've done a really good job. Like, if you look at my athletes, like, they all look like pretty fit individuals.
They don't look like those
They
old
don't look
wrestler
like
athletes.
typical archers, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we get, there's a persona that exists there, right? But when we're talking about pushing forward, so they're physically fit, right? But as long as we're pushing, arrow counts and all of that stuff, that's all well and good. But mentally, we're implementing things, right? There's different thoughts, different feelings, different processes that I want each individual to understand and know. And it's unique because you're different than me, different than you, right? And it needs to be specialized. So when I'm going into a tournament, after we've trained somebody to the level that they need to be and have the understanding the proficiency in what we're asking them to do, right? They have to be that expert and a professional. So when we step up to a tournament, let's say it's a World Cup and we're on stage, there's certain key phrases that we're saying that I'm, voicing that means certain things. When I sit there and I say good, strong shot, right? Like, that sounds very simplistic, but there's a meaning behind that.
That's almost like one of those, no offense, it's like, no shit.
Correct. But people hear it and they're like, why does he say that? Because it sets the tone for that moment. Like, it's easy to point to the Olympics. Like, go back and watch one of those matches. Watch Brady's gold medal match against Kim Woo-jin. It's the most sought after match that's ever been in archery, period. Those are two goats right there.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't go any higher, man. Like, truly epic. And they shot amazing. But at the same time, there's 8,000 plus people in the stands. There's cameras everywhere.
You don't get that in training.
There's a 20-foot U Jumbotron looking at you.
Yeah.
Right? Think of the amount of just the fortitude that you have to go up there and perform in that type of a situation.
Be able to, like, zone all that out. No.
And stay focused on the process. And that's where those phrases come in. And it's different for each athlete. And there's certain things that I say to each athlete that mean different things.
I was thinking about the find your happy place, happy.
Yes.
It's all.
And he goes off and
100%.
And
At the end of the day, they have to shoot the arrow, right?
Yeah.
They're doing it. I'm not doing it. Everybody loves a cheerleader. But if I could sit there and I could reinforce that you're not alone, I'm right here. You're doing this. We've done this before. This is routine.
Yeah.
Same game. We don't do this any differently, right? And manage that expectation. They're going to perform higher. They just will. Because if you're just left up there to your own devices, weird thoughts pop in your head.
Yeah.
And if somebody's not there to rein that back in, or if you're just a tenured veteran and you are that expert and professional.
You're just a
where
stone cold killer,
You're just going up there and making it happen because this is what I do, right? A different level of commitment. But most people, not a right or wrong thing, it's just, different life experiences. Most people don't have that, right? So as a coach, trying to open that door for them to where they don't feel like everything is closing in.
yeah.
Right? I still have a path. This is the path I go on. This is my process. This is what I do each and every time. And those key words kick in, and that's why it's very rhythmic, right? That's where there's very much a flow to it, right? There's a cadence to it.
What did you say? Calm, something strong.
Good strong shot.
Good strong shot.
Good strong shot.
Yeah.
Good focus. Good finish. There'll be a pause, right? There's little things that work for each individual, right? And me as a coach, I want to give them the best experience up there that I possibly can in support. I could cheer and yell, or I could be silent. Like some coaches do that. Some guys yell. Like I like to say, yep, when they shoot a 10, that it just
Training dogs over here.
it just kind of happened, right?
Yeah.
But
It's positive. It's positive,
positive
reinforcement.
reinforcement, right? And you're talking about the best shooters in the United States. These,
If not the world.
if not the world, in a lot of instances, right? Like you're dealing with the highest of the high. They don't need help technically in most instances. They know what to do. There's maintenance aspects to it, but I'm not like relearning archery with them, right?
Yeah.
It's how do we manage the mindset? And everybody always has that phrase of 90% mental. It's 100% mental when you're talking about this level of stage, this level of competition. It has to be. You have to be 110%. Everything, give extra in that moment, because if not, you're going to diminish it. You're going to lose. It's not one thing somebody does. Like this is applicable to every archer. You always hear somebody and they'll fire a shot and like, oh, what did I do? What's the one thing I can make better? And it's not one thing. It's compounding. It's percentages. It's a percent here, percent here, percent here. Now you get to full draw. You're 10, 15% off of what a good shot is. And you don't know how to diagnose it or how to pick one aspect, right? To really start whittling it down because it's across the entirety of it. So now you're stuck. You're just in this perpetual loop. And then you get people changing equipment and bows and release aids and everything else, right?
They chase the
The tinker.
No, my tinkering is a little different.
They chase equipment in
To
the
fix the
guise
problems.
that's going to correct the issue. And the real issue is people don't run a process. Each and every time you
I'm so happy you said that. I'm so happy you said
So
that.
golf, right?
Yeah.
If you just stand up there and you whack the ball, like, and you don't have a shot routine that allows you to be in the right headspace, let alone physical, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
positional.
Not only that, something else to focus on.
Yeah.
Like I have Olympic weightlifters at the gym, and they get tired of me talking about this, but I go through Dudley's shot process. Well, actually, I had the Olympic shot process in my bino harness, but then Dudley's is, I'm dumb. I've had a lot of head trauma. Dudley's is way easier to follow. But I tell them, look, it's if you can't repeat it, you can't grow it. And like when you walk up to a barbell, you have to make sure the first thing that happens is, okay, my feet are set. Next thing, I go with what I know. I get my dominant hand on the barbell. I get my other hand on the barbell. Okay, where are my arms? I'm going to lock them out. And then I lower down and get in my setup position. It's a shot process is what it is.
It's
and
a process.
If I can do that every single time,
Yep.
then if something goes wrong, okay, let's dissect. What did you skip? What did you go fast on? Did you properly engage X, Y, and Z? Same thing in archery. Did I raise my bow to the target and draw back, or did I sling it over my head and yank it down and my shoulders were in the wrong place?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that process, you can't, you might get lucky, but you can't repeat it.
Over time, it's going to break down.
Exactly.
Too many variables, right?
Exactly.
We all have the ability to build a roadmap to shoot a bow. This is how you do it. Exactly what you're talking about. As simple as your stance. Like if you stand too narrow, it's really hard, right? Like somebody could walk up and just push you over.
Yeah.
Right? Like
You don't feel very balanced.
you don't feel very balanced, right? Little things like that. Like something as simple as stance. Most people don't pay attention to it. They'll stand and they're kind of pigeoned out. Well, that just makes you rock. You know what I mean? Like setting things square, shoulder width apart, something as simple as that. That could change somebody's execution because now they're not trying to balance their entire body. They're stable, and now they're much more aware of what the rest of their body's doing because they're not just trying to keep it on the target.
Yeah.
It sounds so simplistic, but that's kind of the beauty of it, is it is.
But I think it sounds so simple, but often simple things make the most difference. And what you're talking about right here is where I think most, especially bow hunters, because there's so much, I'm going to use Jeff's word, there's so much whiz-bang gear out there for us. There's back tension releases, there's hinge releases, there's grip modifications you could put on the bow so you don't torque tune it. There's release aids, there's lighted knocks. There's different peeps. There's all sorts of stuff. There's better sights. There's $800 bow sights out there that you can slap on your bow.
There's $1,200 bow sights.
Exactly. there's sights out there that'll
Tell you the range.
That'll GPS it or not GPS it. That'll range it.
Garmin
and
makes
it
a pretty good one actually.
And
it's pretty
exactly.
legit.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, you mentioned it a minute ago. People are constantly changing their gear, thinking it's going to solve their problems, when in all reality, like I was listening to a podcast between Trail Kreitzer and Sever, a guy at Sever, and he's a competitive archer. I don't know what bracket that he's in, but Trail was like, "What's one bit of information that you can give these people?" And he's like, "Shoot the shit out of your setup."
Yeah.
And he was like, "What do you mean by that?" And he's like, "Let's say you shoot a wrist rocket. All right, you shoot that, you're okay with it. You start getting target panic, so you go to a thumb button, and that fixes the problem for a month. And you're like, man, I'm so good. It fixed the problem. Thank God. And then you start getting target panic with that. So then you go to a hinge, and you're like, oh man, it fixed the problem with that. But then you can still have target panic with a hinge, especially at distance.
Of course you can.
You can get target panic with almost anything.
Yeah.
And they're not fixing the problem. They're just band-aiding it with all this gear
100%.
that is like advertised to fix their problem.
When the reality is the mindset and mentality about what you're thinking, right? The only reason why people truly get target panic, in my opinion, is because of the anticipation.
That's one of my notes. So
outcome.
let's go for that.
Yeah.
It's anticipation of outcome. It always is. You're just projecting.
Yeah.
But what can you do about it?
Nothing.
I disagree.
Well, oh, sorry. My mind went, as soon as that bow goes off, you could do nothing about it. Okay, so let me go back.
Track it.
I'm sorry. I jumped 3 sets ahead.
I was like, hold on, wait a minute.
Okay, tell us what we can do about it.
The reality is you have to acknowledge it, because you can't lie to yourself. You can't.
Can't you acknowledge it? Like, I have target panic.
Yeah.
I am anticipating the outcome.
Okay.
You don't have to say target panic. You can call it, butterflies. I don't care.
I mean,
right?
they have different names for it. Baseball, it's the yips.
Of course,
It's
right?
not pitching
it's
a good.
the same in golf, right? But it's the anticipation of the outcome. What is the next step, though? Right? You have to acknowledge it. Okay, this is what I'm working through. What am I going to do to correct this? And we all get to that point, and everybody pauses. Everybody stops. There's no more progression, and that's why the anticipation comes in. If we're focused on a process and we're truly following a process, we would just go to the next step. It sounds overly simplistic, and it's a process that you have to learn, because that anticipation, honestly, when a lot of people shoot that way, they can get away with it for a time being, and then it gets unmanageable. But there's a time where it's like people are firing, and it's like, yeah, I'm right on that razor's edge, and I'm hitting everything I want to hit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, okay, we've gone past that point. Now we're to the point of no return, right? We could change release aids. We could play all these games. We could do all of this other stuff. But what is the core of the issue is the anticipation. Acknowledge it. Okay, this is what I want to have happen. What is my next step? What is the next thing I have to do?
Do you think it's like anticipation of making a bad shot, or just like
Anticipation
of the
outcome.
shot going off?
Anticipation of outcome.
Yeah.
You're projecting what you want to have happen before you ever give it a chance.
Yeah.
It's the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Right?
You're
So if
willing
sitting
that
there,
arrow into the target instead of ensuring it goes in.
you're more focused on outcome
Yeah.
than actual execution. Because if you were sitting there and your pin's where you want it to be, and you're actually actuating your shot, whether you go through expansion, you squeeze, or whatever you do, back tension, whatever phrases you want to coin, if your sole focus was on finishing that shot would break and it would hit.
It's incredible that you're saying this, because I can tell you probably 3 or 4 times in different aspects of sport that's happened to me.
Sure.
It flares up every now and then in archery for sure. But like a CrossFit workout. Are you familiar with CrossFit at all? Like, we have benchmark workouts that we do over a period of time. Like, Fran is one of them. Fran just so happens to be like one of my favorite workouts. It's mean. You recover from it for like 3 days. It's wild. And it takes like 2 minutes. But every single time I do it, I get more nervous about that workout than anything else, because A, I'm anticipating that I want to beat my time from last time, and B, I know how freaking bad it hurts. So I'm like, okay, there's this dual outcome driven anxiety inside of me now. And what I find happens is, because I am worried about how it's going to go, I can't perform as well. Like my body won't go as hard.
You won't be free.
Yeah,
to
because I'm
execute.
not worried about, okay, let's focus on this set of thrusters and then this set of pull-ups and kind of like talking yourself through it. So how would you, let's say you're dealing with, let's not talk about an Olympic archer for a minute,
Sure.
but let's talk about a bow hunter. How do you cure target panic in a bow hunter?
They have to admit it. Like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. And 9 times out of 10 guys are already there, right? Whether they're voicing it or not, right? Some guys get real vocal with it. I'm not a fan of that because now you're kind of manifesting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're
So,
really thinking.
okay, I'm working through this. It always has to be positive talk. Always.
Which this sounds so voodoo, but it works so well.
It's real.
Yeah.
You manifest it. You absolutely do. If you're negative, if you're looking for negative, if you're breeding, you're going to cultivate it. It's
Yeah.
going to grow right there.
gonna
We say that in the
compound.
gym all the time. Saturday mornings, we have a bunch of people that go in and test the Saturday workout for the classes. And they're tough workouts. They're partner workout, team workouts, whatever. And if one person opens their mouth and says, man, this is going to suck, it's contagious.
Yep.
Everyone
then
now
beep, beep, beep,
immediately
beep,
is like,
across
oh,
the
man,
board.
this is
Yep.
going to suck. So, like, there's one particular person that does it all the time. We're like, don't do that. Don't, just shut up. Keep your mouth
You
shut.
need some mouth tape.
Yeah. Okay, so positive thoughts. Positive.
Has to be positive, right? Because you're trying for a positive outcome. You're already in the negative. So if you focus on negative, you're going to cultivate more negative. It really is that simplistic.
Is that the same thing as getting angry that you're rushing the shot or you're missing the dot?
To a degree, right?
Okay.
Because you have to give yourself some grace to grow. If you don't, you'll just stay in that loop. It's an infinity symbol, man, and you just loop right back to where you were. You have to be willing to step out of it.
What's a positive thing? Like, they got it in their head. They have target panic. What's something that you've seen or done with someone, like, say a certain word or like you sing
Well,
a
I
song?
think you said it a minute ago. Is I'm working through this. Like,
Okay,
I'm
you just-
trying
that's
to work
what you
on
just-
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you could phrase it however you need to
Yeah.
for it to land for you. Something that's meaningful that means something to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm working through this. Like, if that resonates
Positive,
with you, great.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be, I'll get through
I'm
this.
doing
like
this.
whatever phrasing
Yeah.
you want, but it has to be positive. And you have to call yourself out on it. This is the one thing that nobody talks about is you have to call yourself out when you're being negative. Be honest with yourself.
When you're poopy pants is
I'm
is
being
Chad
negative.
says.
I'm being a little bee.
Chad Wright, sorry.
And I need to pump the brakes, and I'm better than this, right? Like, you have to have that mindset, and you have to have that accountability. If you're not going to hold yourself accountable, you're never going to get through it. Period.
Yeah.
Like, nobody can do it for you.
This
You're the
sounds
one
like it's
doing
out of
the
a
act.
movie. I swear this is in a movie. It's like in every major sports movie. It's like, encouragement, my friend. That's couples retreat, but
But it has to come from you,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you want to change, then change. Choose. Like, that's the level of intensity it has to be. But there has to be the accountability, right? You have to keep it just open and honest. Everybody falters, and that's okay. Don't dwell on that, though.
But
You make a mistake, you move past it.
let's take it for like in golf. Like, I've been slicing it. I'm not going to slice it anymore. You can tell yourself that, but you're still going to
slice the
slice
piss
it.
out of it, boy.
So how do you get past saying it and then actually doing it? Like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like,
So you said something that is definitive, though. I'm not going to slice anymore.
yeah.
I'm gonna try not to slice.
Okay.
Is the way
I'm
you should
going
have
to
said it.
work on my slice. It has to be set up to where it's open.
Yeah.
To where it's not a definitive thing. Because then you can work and you have progression with it. If it's definitive and then you slice one, guess what? You just
Yeah.
you just dropped everything, right?
Yeah.
It's all gone now. So now, it has to be open. You have to give yourself grace because you're still going to make mistakes. You're
Absolutely.
working through it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like just magically you're going to say, friggin' Sitka and bam, you can shoot as good as anybody, right? Like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
If you buy the Ambient 100 jacket and put it on, you will. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
It won't
Solid
hurt.
jacket, though.
It won't hurt.
Wonderful jacket.
It is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But
I may or may not have sold quite a few for Sitka now just by buying one myself. One of them being my wife.
well,
They're
Because
not.
she took mine.
I think they got more.
No, we're good. We're good in the Norse household. So I think what you're getting at is like, where does the practice come into play? Like what? Because I'm not gonna lie. If I see another this cures target panic drill on YouTube. I'm got from these YouTube giants that are selling views and all that stuff. Like, yes, that is a tool, but that doesn't cure it. Be honest. That doesn't cure it. That's just getting you views. And you've already said the same thing that someone else has already said.
You know what? If it helps somebody, like, I'm not opposed to it, to be truthful. Like, I want people shooting. The more the merrier, truthfully, right? So if somebody finds, solace in that and it gives them inspiration or at least gets them thinking about it and it helps them in some way and they get likes for it, great. I don't care, right? Like, I'm not on there preaching this stuff. Like, this will be the first place that anybody's heard this, right?
You heard it first.
From me.
You heard it here
So, and you're absolutely right. There's a lot of, professional coaches out there and sports psychs that preach this.
I wasn't even talking about coaches. I'm talking about YouTube stars.
Well, I'm saying, but
YouTubers.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like, I'm not the first one to come up with this.
Yeah.
There's some adaptation for archery that's a little bit different, but I mean, this is pretty sound. Like, a lot of, the MLB, all of these major sports, they all utilize elements of this.
Yeah, mindset.
Right?
There's what is it? The Alter Ego Effect. Have you ever read that book?
I have not.
It's around the same level of what you're talking about. This sports psychology trainer, sports psychology. He is dealing with these athletes that are all in this realm that we're talking about, whether you call it target panic or the yips or whatever it may be. Like, he was dealing with a particular basketball player that would go to shoot a free throw and freeze.
Yep.
One of the best basketball players in the game, in the NBA, and would freeze and would not be able to perform. No matter how well he played on the court, when it was all eyes on him, screw it up. So what he did is create an alter ego. And he would say, okay, when you step up to the free throw line, you become Chris. We're just going to use that name. What does Chris need to do? Well, Chris does this. Chris makes these free throws. Chris has these traits. Chris can block the crowd out. He goes, okay, when you step up to the line, you're Chris. Embrace Chris. And it worked. Dude didn't miss one. The rest of the season, just drain them.
Sounds like a process to me.
And all it took was the mental aspect changing of, you're no longer, let's just use LeBron. It wasn't LeBron, but you're not LeBron in that moment. You are Chris. And you're stepping up to the free throw line. And Chris does this. And he would say to himself, I'm Chris. We're going to be like Chris.
The only thing he did was change his mental.
Well, that's it. It sounds like what
very,
target panic
very
is.
applicable. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like what target panic is your brain saying
out.
now, and then you screw up and you're like, and so.
Right. So it's like, how do you work through that though?
Yeah.
Right. Like, once again, we're being open, we're being honest, and we're being positive about it, because you're not going to get it on the first try. Right? Because if you could just choose, you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're already in there.
Hey, I'm not going to do that anymore. Drilling X's.
We're already elbow deep, right?
Yep.
So we got to climb ourselves out. So understanding that there has to be some grace with this stuff. But when you're pulling back the bow and you're working through your shot, like, okay, kind of that set up, loading, anchor, transfer, like, you can get that granular with it. I'm more of kind of like a 1, 2, 3 guy to get to full draw, because I understand what all of those kind of aspect or segments encompass.
Yeah, you've simplified it.
I've simplified it, exactly. I want it smooth, I want something fluid, but once I get to full draw and I've got that sight picture and it's exactly where I want it and I'm going through that expansion, if I have a thought that isn't finish, then I have to literally in that moment acknowledge it. Now I have to finish, and I'm finishing that shot no matter what. I don't care where the arrow goes, and you have to acknowledge, and then you have to move past it. You have to look at what the next step is.
So you're putting your mindset on the process.
It has to be process driven, because that's the problem. Is you're getting you're projecting, right? You're outcome oriented. So now you're no longer executing, right? You're stopped. That's why you have target panic, because you're stopped.
If I
you ever
embrace
talk
that,
to a guy and he literally can't squeeze a trigger?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
You're stopped. You're literally paused, right? Like, you are frozen in time for that moment, sitting up there shaking, right?
I love to know what's going through people's brains.
I have to have a target the size of that wall if I just focused on that.
But you don't.
I'm kidding, but
right? You can do blank bale. Yeah. You can go up close. There's nothing wrong with that. You're trying to learn something. You're trying to hone.
And that is one of the tactics that you hear a lot of people talk about.
100%.
Take your sight off, get really, really close, focus on making great shots. there was a season when I was getting back into bow hunting, and that's all I did. I sat at 20 yards, and I went through every single step, and that's all I did. And then I backed it up one day to like 40, and it was like, oh, man, that was way easier than it was in the past because all I did was focus on, okay, feet, bows on your leg. You okay there, Chihuahua? Sound like an English bulldog over there.
Yeah, it did.
But that process is what made me a better archer at distance.
That process is what gave you your shot.
Exactly.
If you just yard it back and look through the peep and dump arrows, you have no process. You have no consistency. And the idea that you think that you're going to step up there and shoot, let's say a friggin' 400-inch elk.
Mm-hmm.
And
that'd be nice.
And you have the ability to execute that exactly the way that it needs to at 65 yards.
Yeah.
Good luck. Right, like honestly, good luck, because now you're dumping all of this adrenaline, and even the best of shooters will negate things in those moments. Right, we're relying
They'll
on
punch the
muscle
trigger.
memory.
You hear people about that all the time in those large game situations.
Yep.
I'll punch the crap out of that trigger.
Yeah,
but it's because everything else was ready. Everything else, the process was great, and in that moment, they had to make a shot right then, and they commanded the shot.
I've had
circumstances.
Yeah.
I've had like animals that I've shot, and it was like I was like a out of body experience. I wasn't thinking, and I hit where I wanted to, and then I look back and I'm like, I rushed my shot so bad.
Yeah. See, I've had the exact opposite happen. The first time I got full draw on a bull, you've heard this story. Everything slowed down. It was like you tapped into a different sense. I drew the bow back and I got to anchor, and it was like literally everything just went whoa, and the bull was moving in slow motion. My buddy, like, he was whispering, and it sounded like he was whispering in my ear, and he was like at that chair. It was wild, but it was just because, again, I was shooting a hinge, and I had gone through my process, and when that click went off, I was like, okay, here we go. We know what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't shoot him, but I didn't have the shot. But everything, I was cool, calm, and collected. Now, you put me on a white-tailed deer, I will not be cool, calm, and collected. But now, I recently heard, it was again Trail Kreitzer. If you can't tell, I really like the guy. Maybe we'll get him on the show sometime. But he was talking to a female who is, I don't think she's an Olympic shooter, but she's a competitive archer. She has a lot of like online content around the conscious versus subconscious world. And I started embracing her tactics, and she shared that she sings a song while she's going.
You're
like,
occupying the conscious.
When she draws, she starts singing a song. Mm-hmm. And dang it, if that didn't like work for me, I started singing "Iris" by the Goo Goo Dolls every time. I yanked
as long as it works, it ain't wrong.
And I gotta tell you, like, it's funny because. Life steps in and you're shooting your bow and you're like, man, I got to get home. The kids are there, and you get it full draw and you're like, oh man, I wonder what we're having for dinner. And I don't want the world. And everything kind of just like, you can still break the good shot when you're telling your brain, focus on this, while the body's like, hey, let me do this.
Yeah. It's, there's a really good book called With Winning in Mind. It's Troy and Lanny Basham. Same thing, kind of the subconscious, conscious, and self-image. That type of thing, and balancing those aspects out. Very, very similar, if not the same reference.
Yeah.
But absolutely, you could be at full draw and you could be like potato chips.
Yeah.
And that works for you. All you have to do is occupy the conscious mind.
Yeah.
If we get into that space, though, where we're not thinking about anything but outcome, we're not occupying the conscious mind, because now we're projecting, we're no longer in the moment. Right. And that's why we stop. And that's why there's the hesitation.
So what do you focus on back here?
I always focus on finish. Like, that is what I want.
You don't think that could connect to
pull
like
through the shot or
yank? All right, finish, go.
Because that's not my finish.
Probably because you've been doing this so long.
That's not the way I finish, though. If your idea of finish is just ripping through that's not your finish, though.
You've associated finish with your finishing follow through, pull through the shot.
Literally the balance I feel in my body as I execute the shot, and holding that same tension in my body till the arrow hits its mark.
Yeah, so you're not associating finish with arrow in the middle of the bullseye. You're associating finish with the release going off, dragging through your ear, over your shoulder.
My body.
Yeah. Got it.
I'm finishing the shot. The arrow's already gone, but I am finishing the shot. And by doing that, you minimize miss. You only really interact in two places, right? And most guys have a wrist strap or a thumb, and then you get a D-loop. So you don't, I mean, you could torque it a little bit if you get real heavy with it, but most people, it lives up front.
Yeah.
Most people add too much. They get like these type of spirit fingers going on,
Yep.
or like they're death gripping it and they shoot and the bow has no reaction. Like literally, like I'm trying to find that pressure point right there. I'm letting those knuckles kind of chill at like a 45. You could probably come up and touch my fingertips.
Yeah, same.
And that bow just jumps forward because, you know, I mean, there is a split second when you loose that bow, that arrow's still got to clear.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy moving through your
It's a
front
lot
end.
of energy. And if we were to take a bow, riser and string, and we just let it go, it would actually want to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? There's more mass this way, right? But in free space, like when you watch high speed, you can actually see it pulse back into the hand. So any variation, any tension you have, it's going to take path of least resistance, right?
Yeah.
And then it gets amplified. So you just torqued it, and then dynamically, now that string's on a different path. Now it's flying in the cam track different. Now that arrow's coming out differently. It might be minimal, but now extrapolated to 70 yards. And now you're 6-8 inches off.
If it's a half a degree angle here, it's inches down there. Yeah,
exactly. So that's why it's imperative to focus on your form. That's why it's important to actually train with what you're doing. I mean, think about the amount of money we spend to hunt. Exorbitant amount of money to go live like you're homeless.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, for real. Like,
go get that free meat that we get.
That free is not free.
Not even close.
No, it's the most expensive meat on the planet.
Hands down.
It is.
More than Wagyu,
even if
Japanese.
you process it yourself. Think about, you know, fuel, scouting,
tag.
gear, everything, right? Your bow, that just the time put into it, right?
The 3 years of tags I've already spent, $800 a pop.
Exactly.
Sorry, babe.
It's a different level of passion, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's the real reason why you do it, because you love what that experience is.
What's funny, dumb that down for a second. You hear people say, "Oh, it's not always about the outcome; it's about the pursuit. It's about the adventure in the middle of it." But you can't apply that to your archery process.
If you want to be successful in whether it be tournament archery or hunting, I think that as stewards of hunting and what we're doing, we owe that to the animal to be as proficient with the method of take as we possibly can. Period.
100%.
You got to do your job.
You got to do your job, because I've seen it time and time again where somebody gets out there, they got a brand new bow, they've maybe put 200 arrows through it, and they're going off in the woods and they're out there shooting them in the ham.
They're like me when that bear shaft's kicking 6 inches to the left.
No, bad.
We will have that fixed when we go bear hunting. So one of the things that immediately popped in my brain with target panic is when you see that, because obviously we have, I want to say we have more control over the shot, but sometimes we don't, because I shoot it solely a hinge or a back tension release.
Okay.
Like I don't have as much control over that shot as I think I do.
Correct.
I can still let it just, I can yank it, or I can just move my finger and I can get it to go off, but not like a string in 3 fingers.
Sure.
So when you have that ability to control the process so well, like you can let that arrow go whenever you want to.
Sure.
Is the process to cure the target panic still the same, or with your competitive archers?
It fundamentally is, right? Because once again, Olympic recurve has a clicker, right? So there's a piece of spring steel, and as the archer draws back, it gets to the point of the arrow, and then it'll
down
click,
that little groove.
right? It clicks.
Super sick sound.
And it
so
lets
satisfying.
you know that you're at the correct draw length and the correct poundage to propel that arrow to the desired result.
Oh, that's cool.
Right?
I didn't know
It's
that.
so cool. Joel Turner.
I've never shot one.
Yeah.
And he'll draw back, and he draws back like. Does he draw back? Do you have guys that draw back with their fingers like overlapped?
No,
Maybe I'm getting that wrong, or maybe they're here.
So it would be 3 fingers,
Okay.
right? Arrow is split for Olympic recurve, and then it's going to be under the jaw.
Okay, so the way he draws it, I think he's angled,
Yeah,
and I think he draws it here.
he's doing something a little bit more like trad.
Yeah,
barrel-esque.
There's a brass ring around his thumb, and
It's
there's a
the thumb
groove
ring.
in it. And when it sounds like my hinge when it clicks.
Yeah.
Yep.
It drops in that little groove.
And it lets him know,
Yeah.
okay, I'm there. We're not using that. It's on the bow. But yes, so a lot of people will get hung up, and it's the same process. It's a different platform, but it's the same thing. What they're effectively doing is they're stopping their execution because they're focused on outcome and aiming, right? Same thing is true. That pin's, oh, it's right there. If it just go off, right? You're stopping. You're not still actuating the shot. You're not going through the act of shooting the bow. You're just aiming and hoping that something happens.
Everything's stiff at that point. You're
exactly.
like,
So
you're frozen.
literally aiming and executing are friends. They hold hands. They walk down the street together. Like they have to happen at the same time because you can't just aim and then hammer it. That doesn't work. And you can't just aim forever. At some point, you have to actuate the shot.
Or let down.
Or let down.
Are you a fan of people letting down if they don't think they're in control? Okay.
100%. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for that projectile.
I bet you're not a big fan of, you hear a lot of archers, bow hunters. I don't want to say archers, bow hunters. They're in their backyard shooting and they're drilling 70, 80 yards, whatever. And they say, don't end on a bad shot. But like you can have a bunch of bad shots at the end of the day if you're in your head and still walk off really pissed off. Are you a fan of don't end on a bad shot, or are you in the camp of like, hey, if you're screwing up, just come back later?
I think it depends on the individual.
Okay.
And I know that's skirting it a little bit, but at the same
I totally
time,
see it.
It really does depend on like your own perception of, where you're at. If you're just down and out and just hating life and you're ready to throw that thing in the trash, like, yeah, get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, go pick up golf and then come back to archery because it's way easier, right? Like, I mean, there's no reason to throw yourself under the bus in those instances. Now, if you're somebody who is proficient, like you have those skill sets usually.
Yeah, like you do it for a living.
Maybe you're just having a rough day, right? That's okay.
Yeah.
I still was here. I still trained. I still got arrows in. Like, what did I do well today? What did I learn? Right? It has to be about progression.
I got to give you that one. I have those days where, like, we all have those days. You're like, I'm
hard
shooting
on
like
yourself.
crap.
Yeah.
I'm just shooting terrible. But I do have those days I'm like, it's a bow and a string. I'm not making money on this.
Right.
This is something I enjoy doing. So allow yourself to enjoy it. You're having a bad day. When I'm like, it's like when I'm my best self or when I'm my worst self. When I'm my best self, I look at that and I'm like, okay, we'll just try again tomorrow. We're good. Like, you're doing great, bud. I pat myself on the butt and I get my truck and go home.
It's something you get to do.
Yeah. And
right?
then you have those bad days and you're like, I'm so pissed off because I wasn't shooting well. And a lot of that's tied up to I'm getting ready to leave for an elk hunt. I want to make sure that everything is dialed. And if I can't shoot the daggum middle of the target, I don't know if the bow's performing the way it needs to.
And there's other aspects of life too. There's that life balance piece. If you got something else going on, like it bleeds in because archery is just one of the most personal things. Like I don't need anybody else to go and do that with me.
Yep.
I can just go do that by myself.
A lot, and that's why a lot of people like it.
It's therapeutic, man. Like archery doesn't lie to you.
Yeah.
Either you're doing what you need to be doing or you're not. And it's like the proof is right there.
It's most often the Indian, not the arrow.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah. So what? Okay. And I've been dying to ask you this question. When I used to not struggle with this in the past. When I first got back into bow hunting just after college, whenever I would draw on an animal, I would freak the heck out.
Yep.
And like I would train my butt off on an index release, a hinge release, walking myself through my process. And in those moments when you hear people think like Dan Staten with Elk Shape, he's all about like fatigue your shot, train, get your heart rate up. Rich Roning's the same way. Get your heart rate up and execute because it's the closest you can get to those nerves.
To replicate it.
Yeah. So do that. Fine. Everything's great. But when that buck steps out, I'm so obsessed with making a good shot. And if I'm going to make a good shot, that like all of that goes out the window. Like last year, I hunted with the Stan Solex clicker index release. Love that release. Absolutely love that release. On a target, I'm lethal with it. I shot over 2 deer last year with that release because I rushed the shot. At no point in my brain, as soon as I got on the deer, it was like, now, yank it. And I had told myself so many times on the practice range, oh, yeah, this is easy. I can tell myself, okay, get to the click. Here we go. Pull through your rhomboid. Shot goes off. Get on the deer, yank. Every time. And
sounds like your thought process was different.
Yeah. How does the bow hunter calm themselves down in that moment? Because all it was I was not in control.
100%. And once again, where else do you get that feeling, man? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of love that. I live for that.
Yeah, the adrenaline is what we live for.
When I have that opportunity, like that's the best feeling to me.
Yep.
And what I like to chase.
But with the hinge, I never have that problem. Like I shot a turkey at
turkey a little bit different.
30 some odd yards. It was a long shot for a turkey, almost 40 yards. Well, for me, I'd never shot a turkey with my bow, and that was going through my head. But when that click went off of my hinge release, I was like, can't do anything about it. Let's keep pulling through. And I was singing my song, and everything was great. But I know I'm going to have that. Oh, did you hear that? Yikes.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. That was loud.
Did you see stars? Little sparkles?
I might be concussed. You might have to drive me home. But I know I'm going to have that feeling because I've got a monster on camera right now. And if he sticks around and he comes out in that field, I might get that feeling. But I'm hoping that once that click goes off, I'm going to fall into that same camp. Because every time I've shot an animal with a hinge, I've made a great shot.
You're already thinking negatively, though, a little bit.
All right, Sensei.
You are.
All right, Sensei.
He's not wrong.
I'm going to be your coach.
So is that,
I got this.
What mindset do I have to help me avoid buck fever?
I mean, honestly, it's exposure.
We've said that.
This is your body's reaction to this scenario. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. You can train it, and you can train fatigue, and you can do all of that. There's no substitute for the real thing.
Yeah.
It's just like in tournament archery. We can try and stress somebody and train them up and push them hard and all of that, and then they get to an event, and then things are just different.
Yeah. Right? They have to get more of those under their belt.
They have to get more under their belt to where they realize it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it does not matter. It doesn't matter if we're in training or a tournament. I still shoot. I still perform my shot. Mm-hmm. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter where we are. Same thing is true in hunting, though. It's just we have a lot less opportunities in that regard,
you get
right?
10-second
a lot of pressure.
If 10 seconds, yeah.
Right?
Sometimes it's 5.
Or none.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when it finally happens, it's like this crescendo of everything, and every fiber of your being is like, oh my God. Yeah. And then you're like, beep. Like, well, that was cool. Hopefully, I can find the arrow.
A bit outside.
Like,
that's your favorite one.
Just a bit outside. Yeah.
But this is it. I wish there was an answer. I wish I could just tell somebody, hey, do X, Y, and Z. Like,
it's not that easy.
I think that's what we want, though, is you to tell us there's
I understand that.
No. I think the opposite of what you think I'm saying. I wanted you to say there is no, like, oh, focus on this and it's fixed.
Yeah, there's not.
It has to be, and we've said this before on this podcast. If you want to get more, I don't want to use the word lethal, more accurate. You want to be a more ethical hunter.
100%.
You have to be in those scenarios, and you have to take more shots.
Yes.
Not take more shots. You just have to build up experience on animals, because now that I've got, ever since getting back into bow hunting, I've got a few deer under my belt. Mm-hmm. When I get there, I'm like, okay, we've been here before. Yeah. Everything's good. Yeah. I shot that turkey and everything was fine there. I was on that bull and everything was good. And that really every time I've been full draw on a bull, everything's pretty good. But it's because I've gotten those reps in. And you hear guys even in a 7-day elk hunt, they maybe get full draw on a bull the first day. Mm-hmm. And they're like, man, I was so nervous. The next day they get it again. And then the next day they maybe get another one. And closer to the end of the trip, they actually shoot a bull. Like, dude, I was so calm during that shot. It's because you got 5 reps in. Exactly. And you knew exactly what was going on.
You had those opportunities, right? You got to sit there and draw back and feel that adrenaline dump. And it's like everything's happening and it's just you're hyper aware of every aspect. Yeah. And everybody's going to be a little bit different. There's some folks who just like everything speeds up and then there's no control. And then there's guys who slow down and it can change. Like, I mean, for me personally, like there's been several instances where I've drawn back and I've literally been telling, calm down, like calm down, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
You need to calm down right now. Like, and just holding the bow out there and waiting until I get to that point.
Yeah.
Right. To where I can actually execute a shot. But I mean, for me, 9 times out of 10, it's like pull up, shoot the animal, and then I kind of lose it.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's when everything dumps is when I see that arrow hit. And then it's the celebration, right?
There's a lot of guys that like they get the adrenaline dump after the shot. I'm always before, so the majority of my time I'm watching the deer come in, and I know
Are you shaking?
I'm shaking. I'm
that
trying
to me every time a doe comes in the first time.
Yeah, I'm telling myself,
am I supposed to draw my bow back?
Calm down, and I'm just focused on calming myself the whole time.
I pray, I'm like, Lord, please calm me down. I need this.
Look away.
Please give me strength. Please calm me down. And I think I think I know the answer to this question, but I want to ask it anyways. I shot a doe, got back into bow hunting, shot a doe, made a good shot. Immediately after the shot, I was like, where'd she go? Like I was so spaced out that I didn't even pay attention to where she ran. Is that the same kind of thing going on? Because you hear like the Luke Bryan thing when he shot we all know what you're talking about. Yeah. Where he shot that buck. He's like, is he down? Is he down? Yeah. Like he didn't even know because he's so amped that he didn't even pay attention.
But that's it. Once again, that's that experience piece, right?
Yeah.
Like
I'm
sorry.
Or when you hear someone not being able to tell where they hit the animal.
Right. Like the number one thing I can say that has helped me is, and I heard this from Randy Ulmer when I was like 10 years old, man. Like it was, pick out a crease, pick out a tuft of hair. If you look at an animal and you decide, hey, I'm going to harvest this animal, I'm going to take this animal, you've already made the decision. You don't need to look at anything else except where you want that arrow to go.
Yeah, stare at where you want it to hit.
That's it. A little tuft of hair, a little bit of whatever it is. I want that arrow to go right there, and I'm staring it down until it hits. But once again, you have to learn that. You have to give yourself those reps, right? If you have never done it been in that situation before, then you're going to kind of ride the lightning. It is what it is, right? Like it's honestly what keeps people coming back is that feeling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like a drug. You're chasing that first high.
I don't ever want it to go away. No. I'm just trying to figure out how to manage it. Mm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, you're trying to figure out how to do your job better.
Correct.
You're trying to harvest that animal as ethical as you can.
100%.
And make sure it's dead. Because if you're taking a shot at something, you obviously want it dead.
That was a big learning curve for me, and like getting into archery when I was young, and then like telling myself I'm gonna get a kill, but like calming my nerves down and figuring out how to do that was just like a huge hurdle for me.
Yeah, but it's a fun process.
I did it.
Kind of.
I achieved my goal, and then I did it, so I had more confidence, and then I don't want to say
it's it right there.
Yeah, I don't want to say like when a deer comes in, I'm like the most confident person, but it helps a lot when you've done it before.
I watched the story of Bruce. You were pretty confident in that moment.
I was shaking.
Yes, you were. But even afterwards,
I kept my bow on the easy hanger, and you could still see my arrow shaking the whole time. I didn't take
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
I did not want to hold my bow with a buck facing me for 10, 15, who knows how long. So I just sit there like this, and man, my arms started getting tired just from the nerves, you know. But what a feeling when it.
That's the beauty of it, though.
Yeah.
That's why you're in the woods, is to have that experience, right? Whether you harvest an animal or you don't, just being there in creation, having that opportunity. Mm-hmm. That's kind of why we do it, right? Yeah. Like, and it I don't know about you guys, but it's that disconnect, being out in the woods,
away
being
from
separate,
the real world.
being able to kind of turn everything off for a time.
I enjoy that so much that I have a pretty gnarly corneal abrasion on both eyes.
From CrossFit?
No, from riding four-wheelers and racing and all sorts of being outdoors. And like when your eye doctor looks in your eye and says, oh, that's really gnarly, that's not a good sign. But anyways, whenever I go out west and it's really dry and windy, it flares it up, and basically it reopens, like because the skin on your eye is really thin, mm-hmm. and if you blink and you go to sleep and you wake up, it'll tear it back open. Every year I've gotten smart now, and I take I take a contact with me out there, like it's like a non-prescription. It's just they call it a Band-Aid contact,
just to cover
it up. 2 years ago I didn't have that. And I come back into town, and I love the disconnect so much that when I came back into town, I didn't turn my phone off airplane mode. But I left the guys out there. I had to go see an eye doctor, who was a hunter, by the way, and he was an amazing individual.
That's right.
He was actually taking his dad on a mule deer hunt later that afternoon for the weekend. It was a really cool story. But anyways, I left my phone on airplane mode just so I didn't get the
exactly,
because you would just civilization.
Get blown up.
Because then I would just get the anxiety and everything from that. But you're totally right. So for people that, let's say, the elbow down drawers, the wrist rocket trigger smackers, what is, I don't want to say the Olympic archery process, because that can apply to what we're doing, but it doesn't really apply to what we're doing. The bow hunter's correct shot process, or what you would advise someone on.
See, this is where it gets muddy, is because we're all different.
Yeah.
How you perceive the world is unique to you. It's not a right or wrong
glass half full kind of guy.
That's That's great. Go stand out in the rain. It'll fill up, right? Like, I mean, there's opportunity for everybody to progress.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Everybody. It doesn't matter if you're brand new or if you've been doing it for 40 years.
So you don't have like the George Foreman of shot processes?
No. There's guidelines. There's basis of foundation that I think everybody should look at, like, shoulder width apart.
Yeah.
Right, maintaining a consistent grip pressure, right, not getting into the lifeline so the boat wants to jump straight.
Let me ask you this question then: what does your shot process look like? not to say this is what everybody should do, because we got to clear that up. We're not saying this is what Chris does, so everybody should do it. Having the experience that you have, because I know you tell yourself when you're shooting your bow, okay, feet, something else. Maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3.
I've done.
You're in
I've shot
right
so
now.
much that, yes, in the beginning it was very much that, right? So as if you're shooting on a tournament line, a little bit different, right? You have target lanes and there's a box to stand. Like there's some way for you to kind of set everything up.
There's physical barriers.
There's barriers and constraints that you have to work within your shooting lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to always stance, right? Like, I mean, always stance. That is the base. Like, you're connected to the ground that way. So if you stand narrow, you're going to have a lot of movement.
It's surface area at this point.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
But you've got a big windsock out there, a kite, right? Like, you're trying to be as stable as you possibly can be.
Yep.
Right? So stance is always one of them. You see a lot of people with like the body shift, right? The spine tilt.
I kind of do that.
Directions.
I feel like Cam kind of does that too a little bit.
Well, if you're a 4 foot tall man pulling back a 90-pound bow, you would too.
That or his draw. I always get in my head like, is my draw length a little too long? Maybe.
Could be.
Yeah.
Or once again, it could just be positional based, right? Like, can you, yes, you lean back, but can you lean forward? And is that what you actually need to do? Because if you take like Mikey Slosher, who is, an archer from the Netherlands, and his nickname is Mr. Perfect. Like, the guy is absolutely just a stud.
Yeah.
And he wins a lot of stuff and is really, really good.
Yeah.
And he leans back quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he shoots phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then you take a guy like, Jimmy Lutz, and he doesn't. He's kind of got a different technique, right? It's just, what are you comfortable with? What can you replicate? And what can you maintain?
Yeah.
Like, it really is the crux of it. We're trying to do something repetitively under all conditions.
Can you do it again?
Can you
make
do it again? So
exactly
it's like,
the same way.
If you're shot, if you feel like, if I do this exactly the same and I hold myself accountable to motions, movements, tension, direction, and pressure throughout my shot, and I fire this thing, does it hit my mark? And if you could do it again and again and again, there's nothing wrong with your shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, could I make you look a certain way aesthetically? Sure.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you change that, then he might not be as accurate because he's not comfortable with it.
For him.
Yeah.
And then the level that, you would be shooting versus full-time training, right? So dealing with what we're dealing with on the Olympic side, or like World Cups for compound, all of that stuff, like, they're doing this at the highest level. They are committed to it. It's their jobs. So we're
they
looking
are
for
trying
the
to be Mr. Perfect.
ultimate level of refinement, right? Like,
Yeah.
we want them to be the experts and professionals at their craft. But the average bow hunter who's going out there, or somebody who's really into it, I mean, how much are you really shooting? Are you shooting 100 arrows a week before season? You shooting 50? You shooting 10?
Yeah, are you
Before
picking
you
your bow
leave?
up?
Depends
3
on
days
what
before the
week.
season
Yeah.
open up. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, this is that separating factor. If somebody truly wants to become better at archery, you just have to practice it. It's as simplistic as it gets. If you want to be a better bowler, what do you got to do? You got to go bowl.
Yeah.
You want to
It's
throw
the same
darts
thing in
better. Like,
CrossFit. You want to
same
get
thing.
stronger at
You
squatting,
want to lift.
You got to squat.
Exactly. You want to run around and just be the Murph King. Like,
Take
God.
steroids.
like, but that's the name of the
Misconception
game.
doesn't always work.
So it sucks because everybody wants the quick fix. Everybody wants something easy. I got a new bow. I got this.
The American culture, I
And
want it
that
now.
can help. Yes.
Yeah.
But you have to learn your equipment. Exactly what you keyed on earlier, right? Is you have to be aware of what your equipment's doing. You have to understand that. Okay, at 65 yards, like, this is what my pin gap looks like, right? Because I'm splitting pins, or maybe, I got the bubble right in the scope housing in my 60-yard pin because I'm running a 5-pin sight. And it's like, I can shoot 65 right there.
Yep.
right? Like learning those little nuances and things, right?
I used to shoot in the gym when it's really cold. I got 40 yards that I can shoot in my gym.
Oh, that's nice.
And I remember I heard someone say, yeah, I use the top of my, it was in a podcast. He was like, yeah, I use the top of my bubble for my.
For 70 or whatever.
Or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if that works. So I backed up, and this is not with the bow that I have now, nor the arrow that I have now. So the bow I was shooting was pretty fast. It was a lighter arrow. And I opened up one of the bay doors, and I backed out of the gym. And I can't believe I'm saying this because my business partner listens to this. And I do it. And I sailed right over the target, and I buried that arrow. And we have like freezer-style walls in our gym because our gym used to be a
It's like insulated.
Yeah, it used to house organs. Well, back when America was healthy and we had like one person needing an organ and there was like 10 organs. Now we have 30 people needing an organ and now there's one organ and there's a wait list. Anyways, yeah, it's that freezer style wall that you get in like walk-in freezers. I buried that arrow into it and I had to break it off because it wouldn't come out.
It wouldn't come out, yeah.
Because I used that bubble.
Yeah.
But I like what you said is knowing that reference and figuring that out about your setup. So you covered stance. What would you say next in the process?
I mean, ensuring your body position, right? Like, it kind of goes with stance, like how you standing, you leaning back, you're doing silly things like that. It's like you want to be in a position that you have maximum mobility. Mm-hmm. You don't want to limit rotation and things like that. I mean, a lot of guys will draw down, they'll draw up. Everybody kind of does it their own way. Not a right or wrong thing as long as you're not tearing rotator cuffs or doing those silly things, right?
But that you said something about your setup a minute ago, your process. Can you maintain it?
Correct.
Having injury doesn't allow you to maintain it.
It doesn't allow you to maintain it. So understanding that there is a proper way to draw a bow, right? Mm-hmm. It's not sky drawing and like trying to tomahawk and leverage that thing out there. Like you're overbowed if you can't sit there and literally take your bow from here, pull it up at target and draw your bow back. Yep. You're overbowed. You just are. So you have two options. Either shoot more and get strong or turn your bow down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's really not that big of a deal. And 9 times out of 10, you turn your bow down, odds are you're probably going to shoot a little bit better because you have control. And the arrow's going to be a little bit stiffer, right? And I think in most instances, I mean, you're a good example right now of somebody shooting a weak arrow.
Yep.
And I think a lot of folks do that with modern bows and the efficiency level that's there, right?
400 spine arrow.
You're breaking that spine down a lot, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just, okay, that spine's broken down, but as you execute the shot, any little torque, anything you put on it, that arrow's further offline.
Yeah.
Right? And not to mention trying to hit an animal and then push all that KE through, right? And drive that broadhead through.
Yeah.
And it's just whipping through, right? And, I mean, if you hit a shoulder blade or whatever it is, like, you don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
You smash a rib and it's a glancing.
Yeah.
And now
you don't
it's up
have
through
the
the
arrow
brisket.
behind it pushing. It's wobbling.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right?
So stance is important. Like, is this for like tree stand hunters or on ground hunters? Because people are using saddles now. And
situation dictates, right? Like if you're hanging in a tree in your butt sling, buddy, you got to make it happen however you can do it.
Yeah.
I can't get that picture out of my head now. That's funny. I've never heard anybody call it a butt sling. You're talking about a saddle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what would you call it?
A saddle. The name for it.
I've seen saddles.
Okay, touche.
That does not look like a saddle to me.
Touche. The guy that coined that was totally like, oh yeah, we can't call it a butt sling.
I kind of like the butt sling.
I'm going to call it a butt sling from now on.
I mean,
I'm going to take the
you see a saddle on a horse, those are going the other way.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm sure you would say practice out of the saddle.
Of course.
How you're going to do it.
Exactly.
Repetition.
100%. Because if you go and buy a saddle because they're cool and lightweight and all of that, and you can pack up in there and just throw it up, great. How many times have you shot out of it?
Yeah, it's totally different.
Do you notice, okay, you go to draw and it's like, I can't draw because of where something is.
Absolutely.
Or where the tree is, or just the orientation of where you need to be. You get 2 hours into a sit and you go like to push off and you realize like, oh, my leg's all tingly and I can't do anything with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
My butt cheek or my nutsack or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, situation dictates. If you're 20 foot up in a tree and you got a little bitty tree stand and you got to stand the way you got to stand, you got to make it happen, right?
Well, also to a different degree, stance is negligible if you're sitting down.
True.
Like even in my saddle, my butt sling, the past few deer I've shot out of it, I rest my knees against a tree and I draw. And I'm not in that perfect.
But that's
John Dudley
learned.
Calls it.
Did you know to do that when you first got it? Or was that something you started working through? Like, oh, this actually is more stable. This is more comfortable.
I'm the tinkerer. And
so you worked through
I took
it.
30 arrows up in a tree and I put 4 different targets around me.
See?
And I started shooting different targets. And I realized.
And that's what you got to do.
That this shot away from the tree is not a shot that I'm going to or want to take because it is difficult.
Yeah.
And at that
it's a low percentage shot.
At that point, I'm not so sure that everything is in line. Like maybe my anchor's great, but maybe I moved the bow over, and now I'm not going to make a great shot.
There's other things.
I might ruin my bow.
You could derail it. Sure.
The only reason I know that is because I spent time in that situation, and like John Dudley talks about the man on the ring. Like you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen that in his shop.
Yeah, that's his logo. He's like, you put your arms out here and then boom, whatever. He has the fancy term for it. But when you're in a tree stand, you're not always perfectly stacked.
Nope.
Sometimes your hips might be in the right position, but you have to make sure that your shoulders are following and you're not just doing this guy right here, keeping your anchor where it is.
Right.
Learn that the hard way. And that came from experience.
Well, because it's all connected, right? Everybody wants to aim like this. Mm-hmm. Up, down, left, right. But it needs to be the entirety of it because that's where you're slaved. That's how you're keeping that bow from collapsing.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? You're bracing against it. So if we're changing here, we're just changing pressure. We're actually aiding in collapse, right? And, going to the left would be a stronger shot, right? And now we're shifting peep, right? It's no longer concentric in a lot of instances. People will walk left and right. Hand placement changes, just the pressure that you're building in the bow. So when you fire that shot, that bow jumps whichever direction you gave it.
Yeah.
You kind of got to drive it.
I've actually seen that happen in someone's hand. Like the bow will kick to the left instead of falling straight forward. And I always chalked it up to they've got too much weight on one side of the bow or the other.
9 times out of 10, it's flexion at the wrist, and they're just giving it that path. Because as soon as you fire it, that bow's in free
that
space.
Direction. Yep. So, that makes sense.
So you go stance.
For me, it's always grip.
On the bow.
Yeah. Grip on the bow. I always stance, grip.
Are you hooked in at this point? Like, are you hooked onto the bow when you establish your grip?
Yeah. So I actually pull back a little bit on the
get a little pressure
and get that little bit of pressure just to set the grip.
Yeah.
But then it's done. I could literally take a bow right now and just put it in my hand and shoot that. It's not any different.
Yeah.
It's just been honed. This is just how I do it. So now it's natural. It's intuitive. And that's ultimately what you want to create, is that under any circumstances, you're going to go through your base level of motions and movements, your baseline, every time. Doesn't matter what's going on. Doesn't matter if that's the biggest deer you've ever seen in your life and you're on cloud 9, right? You're still going to go through those motions because it's hardwired, right? You've created those neural pathways, right? People always talk muscle memory. Muscles contract and they release, right? It's the creation of the neural pathway that allows you to have that control.
Yeah.
Right? So understanding that through repetition and focused, thoughts and feelings in a positive direction, you can reinforce all of that to where it kind of goes back into that subconscious piece where it's you could run on autopilot if you had to.
Yeah.
You don't really want to because you still want to occupy the conscious mind if you're singing a song or going through your process, whatever that might be. But it gives you a baseline, and this is the core of the fundamentals of my archery and how I do it. So through enough repetition, it just becomes effortless, and then all you're doing is managing it. You're not trying to create it; you're just managing it. So a different intensity and focus to what you're doing to execute a shot. I guess next would be that draw cycle, right? I'm a big fan of drawing to target. I don't like drawing high and then trying to come down. I definitely don't like being low and then trying to come up.
Yeah, because
fighting gravity sounds terrible to me.
All the time, yeah.
And then what ends up happening is people will lift with the shoulder, right?
I got you, yeah.
And now you're always fighting that collapse. You're always fighting. There's always the shake. If you watch really good shooters, they're really in a good position or they're in a consistent position. Even guys who lean back, that string might get to that shoulder line, but it's not like
they're not here. They're
right?
just,
They're still engaged. They're still engaged with that lat. right? Like that lat still engaged. People don't talk about utilizing the lat to keep the shoulders down. Everybody's like, oh, keep your shoulder down. Well, how do you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you could change
Yeah,
body position.
And people, the misconception that I've taught people is not, when you say engage your shoulder or push your shoulder forward, they just do that.
Yep.
That's not engaging their lat. You have to literally think about bracing, like you're doing a lat flare.
Exactly.
Like Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you engage that lat and it just solidifies that foundation.
So when you go to lift the bow, you can actually just engage your lats. You're not squeezing them, right? It's just a little bit. You're just barely firing them, like
you do before you lift the barbell. Yep.
Yes, exactly. And then now the shoulders are down.
Yep.
Right. And you
They're
don't have to
protected.
fight them. And then, make sure you're not overbowed to where you get up into this, or you start rocking that shoulder way forward. And then we get all up into the trap, all of that. And then that causes issues. Really hard to
Could
keep.
be while my neck was popping. Kidding.
Really hard to keep a consistent direction of expansion when you're collapsed in. You want to use that skeletal structure, the biomechanics of your body to brace against that bow is the most effective thing you can do, because this distance is consistent. If this shoulder comes up, this is not a consistent distance.
It's changed.
It just changed.
Now everything changed.
Everything else is connected, right? So everything just changed.
This is good. His process is just like mine so far. I'm being dead serious.
You get the right bow, you might be able to go to the Olympics.
Let's get into more, and then I'll find out where I'm going wrong.
Hell, we get you a Hoyt.
I got Hoyt.
Well,
I know where I need to know.
Hoyt Spider.
I got a lot I
Spider was a
need.
good bow.
Yeah.
You probably have some patent work on that. 'Cause
And
were you with Hoyt?
nothing on that one. The only thing I did for compound, the little limb dampeners or string dampeners they have?
Yeah.
The little donut?
Yeah.
It's called the hole shot.
You're talking about about the weights that they have on the top of the string.
The little rubber guy.
Their speed, or their, what are they called?
Oh no, they look like a donut that's been smushed together. They
Correct.
were on the RX4. Yeah, that's the last time they had them.
So those little guys. I think they still have them. On my RX8 has them, unless I put them in there.
No, I don't have them on my.
But
is that a carbon thing?
Honestly, couldn't tell you.
Because the RX4 is a carbon bow. It could be on other carbon bows. I don't have them on my Ventum. I have the weights.
Yeah, so this would have been after that, because the Ventum and the time frame on that bow.
It was 2019, I think.
Yeah, so it probably would have went in 2020, 2021 time frame.
Got it.
But it's literally just a little round donut with a slot around it that you would put in. And the idea behind it is when you drew the bow back based off the string tension, and they were different durometers for different weighted bows and different string tensions, is that it would open up. And then when you'd shoot, it would want to close, right? Because it's collapsing in, and it was like a little shock absorber.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Kind of interesting.
So that was your
cool.
your patent.
It's like a
cool.
suspension system at
And
that
then
point. Yeah.
I've got some recurve stuff too, but getting too far off topic, I guess the next step within the shot process would be kind of the anchor, right? And when I'm anchoring, I'm ensuring that my sight picture is there, right? I'm ensuring that my peep and my scope housing are concentric, that my sight is level. This is all happening in an instant. I'm just immediately correcting it, right? I'm acquiring target, right? Pin float, whatever. The pin's going to float. The idea of it being totally stable on a hunting bow is pretty tough.
Yeah.
You can do it sometimes if you're really feeling good that day. Like sometimes they'll just park and you're like, this is awesome.
Yes.
Right? Like before you even loose the arrow, you know where it's going.
It's really hard to do that when you're standing on the side of a 40-degree slope.
100%, right? So, sight picture's there, everything. And as I'm acquiring that sight picture, I'm actuating my release. I'm going through the act of finishing that shot.
As you're acquiring the sight picture?
Like this, because I draw straight to target, like it's roughly there. Like the pin settles, I make sure that concentric as far as the peep and the scope housing, it's leveled, that pin's where I want it, and I'm going.
Okay.
Like it's that quick. Like it's like all of that looks right. Okay, now we're executing.
Yeah, so you had me on most of that. I'm a little different though. I really enjoy the feeling of once the pin's there, I don't settle it because I'm not worried about settling it.
Okay.
But I like for it to at least like get on the dot or the scoring ring that I'm shooting. And then I really like, okay, I'm here, I'm chilling. And then I'm singing my song. And I really like the feeling of the resistance I get in my fingers when I'm pulling through that shot. So it's like in my mind, I've created a gap between target acquisition and executing the shot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a recent thing. I just started doing that this year, and I really like the way that it feels.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Okay.
It's working for you.
100%. If it works for you, it's not wrong.
Good.
It's when it doesn't work that you have to address it.
And you have to say, something is not working, but I'm working through it.
100%, man. Because if not, then you go down the rabbit hole, and then it's just negative, and then the next thing you know, you're picking up golf.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come back
It's
to archery
the
because
same
you suck
thing.
at that too.
And then you'll come back to archery. I've
When
seen it. I promise you.
When I'm back here and I'm set on my chin like I want, I'm thumb button. So I know the exact amount of pressure just through like practicing. I'll get to where I know I'm pretty much like if any more pressure is going off, and then I'm on the target. And when I see it, I'm gone.
So you
That-
like
I'm
pre-tension your release.
Preload it. Yeah.
like
yeah.
I'm on it, so that way when I know when I'm hovering and I get right on it,
It's keep going. I'm sorry.
no, it's going off. But
The Ibex hinge release from Evolution Outdoors. When that first came out, it had a faulty spring in it, and it wasn't faulty. Like it made the release do anything wrong, but it would make a noise. And
It'd like shift or something.
not even
Like
that. It's like have you ever put like a spring next to your ear, and it's like making that like metal, not metal grinding, but it's like
yeah,
like a trampoline spring
Interesting.
almost.
Yeah,
Like
like an audible as it's
Yeah.
being compressed.
So I would get back to full draw, and I was embarrassed by this when it first happened, and I was pulling through the shot, and I took the click off. This is the first hinge that I've shot in a long time that has a click. I had taken the click off this one, and I was pulling through it, and I heard the spring compress, and it scared me, and I broke the shot. But I noticed that I would get super antsy when I would hear that spring tension up versus a click because I'm used to the click.
Right.
I would hear that spring start bunching up, and it would give me so much anxiety.
The anticipation.
Yeah.
I was anticipating it going off because I knew there wasn't like an audible like, okay, here we go. I didn't know what that
Right.
meant. It wasn't like when the click goes off, I know it's game time.
Let me ask you this: when you first started shooting a click, did you react to it?
No, because I had done my homework. I was 3 yards away from the target, and I was like, okay. It is okay if this thing goes off because I'm so close, nothing
Right.
bad can happen.
Right.
And I had a sight on my bow, so it's not like I was blank bailing. But when I got up there, I would let the click go off because you hear so many people jump when
Sure.
the click goes off. If I ever let anybody use my release, I'm like, do not. When you hear a click, keep pulling. It's not gonna go off.
Right.
And when the click went off, I was able to like really train myself to get used to the click, then shoot.
That's really good because 9 times out of 10 guys get those, and they just step up to 20 yards.
Yeah.
And it's such a visceral reaction for most instances because people are very reactionary.
Jump out of your skin or
when
whatever
they
they
shoot,
say.
right?
Yeah.
Like just boom, and then things gone,
Yeah.
right? But going about it like that, that's exactly what I would tell somebody to go and do if they want to shoot that style of release, right? Hinge style releases, like people say back tension, like all the different phrases. At the end of the day, it has to be rotated, right? There has to be a level of rotation. So that's it. I just wanted to hit on that a little bit. I see a lot of guys with the idea of if I just get tighter in my back, if I just squeeze my scapula, like this release is going to
Geometry
go off.
is not in your favor at that point.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
still
like
have to
you
pull.
get a guy just pulling through it and it's not going anywhere
Yeah.
because there's no rotation.
Yeah.
So
Or
understanding.
there's too much.
Oh, sure.
And
they
now
just
you're
rip
pulling the
through
string
it.
away from your face
Yeah.
because you're focused on doing this, which is going to pull it.
Or you see guys really get into the thumb peg and they kick the wrist way forward, right? And it's
Yeah.
not an efficient
You've got it set up
position.
wrong. Yeah.
You got it set up wrong. Like you need to,
Move the half
take that
moon.
thing off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little too hot for you.
Yeah.
But those types of things, like there's so many instances where guys have good kit and it's just not set up correctly for them.
Yeah.
Right. Or they get something new, like, a release with a click in it, and they don't do their due diligence for it to really understand it and then be able to apply it and see the success with it.
Yep.
So it's like you end up with a release drawer full of 20 different things and
George
random
Riles
stuff.
release collection. Have you seen that?
I have.
It is unreal, dude.
It's
But
kinda
that's not from what
everything.
we're talking about. That's like
Right.
all these prototypes that people
Sure.
have come out with or he's come out with.
But he's got everything else.
yeah.
but there's a lot of opportunity out there. Guys have good kit. Like even bows that are 10 years old, they're still great bows. You can go out there and harvest anything you want with those bows, right? It's really getting it tailored to you, finding a good shop where guys are knowledgeable and they actually care about what they're doing.
Barefoot
right?
archery.
Barefoot's great. Love those guys. Find a shop that's like that, that's going to be willing to support you, work with you, explain things to you. Like, hey, why is this? Or why would I want to do that? And those guys are knowledgeable. Like, they're going to be able to square you away. And 9 times out of 10, the equipment that you have is probably more than sufficient.
Yeah.
You might be better off like, hey, you could probably be a 1/4 inch shorter in draw length.
Longer D-loop, yeah.
Or, longer here, or, poundage or whatever it is. Like, if you're not
Or the right spined arrow could make you more accurate.
Guaranteed. Not 2 feet weak.
8 inches, okay?
Yeah, that's 12, right?
Yeah.
I have a question for you. I actually heard this from Colby, I can't remember his last name, and Chris B. They were talking about the peep sight.
Mm-hmm.
So you said a minute ago you draw on target, and for the people listening that don't know what that means, when you raise your bow, you immediately put the pins on the target, and you draw in that line, that force line.
So you're on target. I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
You're just on the target. You're already looking at your pins?
Yeah.
Or are you looking at the target?
The reference.
Both.
Yeah.
I'm looking through that housing at what I want. The idea behind it for me is like the quicker I can get onto target, right?
The less time under tension.
I'm going to start
The less
practicing
time,
that.
right?
Yeah.
And then also in a hunting scenario.
You
I don't
can't
want
do that in a
extra
tree stand,
movement.
no.
Like, there's instances where I'm sitting there and I'm drawing it like this. I want to be smooth and quiet and maintain. And even if that animal's looking at me, like, they can't quite tell what's going on.
And people don't train that enough, in my opinion.
There's a lot of the sky draw. There's a lot of the extra, the draw
Well,
down
they
type stuff.
even if they draw in that line that we're talking about, they draw fast.
right.
You see them get back here,
Snap
real
it
clap.
back. That's a lot of movement. And what
And
happens with
reality,
predators.
we're drawing like
They're gonna
this,
see.
getting into our anchor.
Right.
Okay, so I heard, and I might not have heard this right, so take that with a grain of salt. As long as the pin is in the center of your peep sight, it doesn't matter about the rest of the housing. The pin that you're using, back that up. As long as the center of the target that you're trying to hit, the pin and your peep sight are in one straight line. Target's centered in your peep sight, and the pin's in the center of the target. It might actually just be the target and the peep. But as long as those 3 are lined up, you're okay.
I mean, isn't that just how you do it anyway?
Yeah.
though?
There's factors that can
makes
throw you
sense, but
off.
they were trying to say
you,
that they're
Are you referencing the orient? So let's say you got 3 pins out there, right?
Yep.
And you're looking through your peep, like, okay, that 20-yard, are you putting the 20-yard to the center of the peep? Is that what you're referencing?
That's what they're saying, because the conversation was about the ring outside of your scope housing.
Okay, so the
you don't need
housing
to worry
itself.
about, and then it came down to, because you know how Hamsky has the adjustable peeps. You don't need to fit.
They're saying you don't need to be.
You don't need to fit that scope ring inside of your housing or your peep sight. If you want to run a smaller peep, you can, as long as the target, the pin, and the peep sight are centered.
Right. You would have to sight in that way to do that.
Yes. So you couldn't.
Correct.
You couldn't see the housing.
Yeah, you can't see, like, I shoot an HHA Tetra. You can't see the green.
As long as you're sighting in that way.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't sight in that way and you go and try and do that,
Your sight
you're going to be
pictures
all
are
off the
your
map,
reference
right?
points are all off.
But
You're screwed.
yes, you could absolutely do that. The only issue I have with going with a smaller peep in a hunting scenario is lighting conditions.
Yep. Yeah.
Dawn, dusk time frame. At the end of the day, I want the highest probability of success.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good on a small peep. Like, if you're going out and shooting tack events and things of that nature, that stuff's great. And you want to ink out the highest level of accuracy out of it with those types of setups, you're just going to run a single pin mover anyway. And you could shoot a smaller housing and you could shoot whatever size peep you want. You know what I mean? I don't think for a hunting scenario, especially out west, out here, a little bit different story for sure. But out west, no way.
Yeah.
Like, it just, the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
There, right?
Exactly, yeah. Especially when you've got, let's say you've put 4 years into elk tags for your one shot opportunity.
Well, and conditions dictate, right? Like, okay, there's no reason why you couldn't just run a single pin with a small, and play that game. But if you're shooting a gang site and you got multiple pins, why?
Yeah.
Why diminish that, right? Especially if, okay.
Yeah, not to mention all you're doing
Ground
is
blind?
making your sight picture
I would
more
not like
cluttered.
that.
I mean, imagine holding that up and then doing that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't see as much. Okay, so you had stance, we'll say posture, and then your process of raising the bow to the target,
Grip.
drawing in that straight line. You get back to your anchor position. What are you doing next?
I'm focusing on finish. And the finish for me is actuating the release. Like,
Do you shoot a thumb or do you shoot a hinge?
I shoot a thumb.
Okay, got it.
The reason why I shoot a thumb is because there's been many instances where I've had to get an arrow off because I had a very limited window.
Yeah.
And for me personally, like if I was shooting tournament archery, like especially indoors, I do like to shoot a hinge. I like that feeling of expansion. Same, very, very similar to Olympic style recurve, right? Because you're just using your fingers there. It's 3 fingers. Like it's a very similar feeling.
It's cool.
You're saying you have more control over the thumb button, maybe?
Yeah,
Like the shot
and
going off.
shooting.
Demanding
Yeah,
shots.
yeah.
If I
can't-
got something scooting through and it's like this needs to happen time now,
Yeah.
like
Not that you're
You gotta do
punching
what
the
you gotta
trigger.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
well,
you're
command execution is what we call it, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. You told yourself to push the button instead of letting your hand expand.
I got
You know how to shoot a thumb correctly. Like it's still
Yeah.
technically you're shooting it like a back tension release. Or a
Sometimes I
hinge
can
release,
punch
sorry.
it pretty good, you know, but
all depends on how big he is.
yeah.
So finish for you is letting your hand expand and keeping your thumb
So
on that thumb.
for
ring.
me, like the way I set up my release, that thumb, that barrel is out there pretty far.
Yeah.
I find it when I get tight like this, I end up getting real tight into my wrist and everything. Like I let it to hang out, and
I heard you want it like the crease right here about 5 o'clock on your
right. So if I'm sitting there, like that thumb's pretty far back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I just leave it right there.
Yeah.
So
that's how I shoot.
I'm not
them,
trying to
too.
reach because then I create a moment. I create angles, right? And I don't want that. I want that. Oops. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
I knocked
We
it.
said don't hit
My
the mic
bad.
and he hit it.
Don't be
Look
mad
at
at
her
me.
face.
Don't be mad at me.
It's on a delay. So like when we say
about to
something, she
crush.
hears it 3 to 4 seconds later.
Explosion.
Yeah.
But it doesn't create any like flexion at the wrist, right? Which can lead to other things.
Yeah.
So the idea behind it is you could wrap your thumb that type of feeling, but I feel like I build expansion. I'm not pulling. Pulling wouldn't be the right way to explain it. I'm building, I'm maintaining, and then I'm actuating that thumb. Like I'm
Yep.
actively engaging it and trying to manage, that same sight picture throughout that motion and movement.
Got it. So you're connecting. It's almost like a push and a pull. The push that you're connecting here is maintaining the sight picture as you're pulling through the
Right.
shot here. You're breaking you're still pulling the bow apart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to be aggressive with
Yeah.
it. Think of it more of like the force, right? Like I'm giving
my language.
direction, right? But I'm not overtaking anything. I'm maintaining. There's a focused energy towards the target. There's a focused energy away from the target to maintain and to balance that.
Got
and
it.
give myself that window to execute that shot.
That makes sense. Makes
'Cause
perfect sense.
If you start adding anything more than that, then everything starts moving. Things will change.
You're almost you're over exaggerating.
You're over-exaggerating.
Instead of having that
You're-
set distance you talked about, you just shortened it.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're breaking things down and you're creating angles. And when you do that, what do? You pull now that string's in the cam track slightly different. You're creating a different level of torque. So now when that bow looses, right, there's movement.
Yeah.
It's a lot more
It's
reactionary.
a spasm
of a
in your
shot.
hand
Yeah.
instead of just a rest.
Do you guys ever use like shot trainers to practice with?
Did you bring yours?
No, but I love that. That thing has been
Yeah. If you get it to the right
when it
length.
comes to technique, yeah. And I got a little mark on mine to make sure I'm there, but technique, that has been a
Yeah.
game changer for me.
Well, it kind of like dry fire with pistols,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's something you can do in your house. You're
Yeah.
watching TV and kids are running around or whatever it is, and you just get some reps in and you just be focused with it.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Dude, one of my favorite things to do right around elk hunting season. So like 2 weeks before I leave, I overanalyze my shot. I put my target in my garage and I get like 5 yards away, and all I do is focus on executing the shot.
Yeah.
And I have little marker dots like where I need to aim, so I don't shoot above or below the target.
Or smash arrows.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
break them on the workbench or anything like that. And that's literally just, and I'll film myself sometimes just executing a good shot, not worrying about where it's going to hit, just execute a good shot. And that helps out so much because you don't get so obsessed with everything in front of the bow.
100%. And it gives you a reference point of your progression, right? Like most guys just like, they expect to get better, but how are you really measuring that, right? In what
That's a really
aspects
good
are
point.
you progressing, right?
Yeah.
So
'Cause
what
there's
you're
only
doing
one
gives you
metric
that
too.
baseline, right?
Yeah.
You
When
get a
we're not
brand new bow.
scoring, there's only one metric to go by.
Correct.
It's like, am I hitting where I'm aiming?
Are you hitting behind the pin?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you measure that, and how can you be proactive in kind of your own progression? You got to have a baseline. You kind of got to know where you're starting at, right? If you don't know where you started at, how are you going to be able to look back and see how far you've come?
Yep. Makes perfect sense.
Little reference, like what you're doing would be really good. Like you just take a video, you sit there, you watch yourself shoot, and it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing.
That's atrocious.
I don't like this.
Oh,
Let's
there's your
change
question
this,
mark.
right?
I hate seeing myself shoot every time.
Says the guy that has a YouTube channel with 120,000
But it don't matter
YouTube
because like
subscribers.
I'm always critiquing myself to where I'm like,
And that's fine,
I
as
could
long as
shoot-
you do
I
it in a
could-
positive way.
I could shoot just
I love myself
Dumb.
when I shoot like shit.
yeah.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
If you get to that point, like,
I love missing deer.
I love
yeah, no,
missing deer.
it's called a rifle.
Yeah.
It's have you ever seen those posts on Instagram where it's like my backup bow? It's like this is my bow and this is my backup bow. It's a 6.5 Creedmoor. Well, dude, we could keep going forever, but we've already been on for almost 2 hours, so we're gonna let you get out of here
All right.
now before we dive into too much stuff. But Chris, thank you so much for
Thank you both.
for coming on.
Appreciate
You're getting ready to head out of the country.
No,
You're not heading out of the
we've got
country.
U.S. Nationals coming up, so that's a pretty big deal. We're actually doing an outdoor final, so the top 8 from the USAT series this year will shoot for money, so that's pretty rad. And yeah, the U.S. Nationals, and then we're pretty much done for the year. Next year's going to be nuts. We've got World Championships, Pan American Games, all the USATs, all the World Cups. And then we'll start Olympic trials next year for LA.
Yeah, because we
Where-
got what?
where
We got
can we,
2
like-
years.
Yeah.
2 years
LA
until we're
2028.
nice.
Where can we keep up with like your shooters and stuff? Is there like a website or do you have social media?
I mean, you can check out Sitka
Yeah.
because they're going to be posting stuff.
Yeah.
Is what I heard.
Yeah.
What I was promised actually, but
Oh man, a subalpine.
yeah,
A subalpine jersey would be nothing screams freedom at the games more than a subalpine jersey.
unfortunately, World Archery doesn't allow camouflage.
Come on,
I know.
man.
I'm
Get
with
it
you.
Together,
I'm with you.
people.
But USA Archery can, and that's probably a really good resource.
You
for a
listening,
lot of
HQ?
folks.
Yeah.
You listening?
If anyone's interested in target archery and all of that, but once again, there's other aspects of it, and there's a lot of really good resources on the website. So usaarchery.com, you can look on there. Coaches, all of that good jazz. I mean, other than that, it's go out, shoot your bow, challenge yourself, find a good shop, and yeah, just put in the reps.
Have fun with it.
And
Yeah.
August
fun with it.
26th, tune in to the most important tournament you're ever going to see in your entire lives. The Sitka boys take on the United States archery team. This is going to be a fun one you don't want to miss.
Are you gonna be shooting in there?
Speaking of missing, how many arrows are we going to lose?
Well, hopefully none.
I don't want to live in there.
I won't. As long as I take my good arrows. But your targets are going to get beat to crap.
It's fine. We got more. It's
Where the
70
government-
meters, so 77 yards.
Great.
You're both going to be shooting at a 122 centimeter face, so that's the Olympic face. And we'll probably do some match play. I think that's, you being a little one-on-one action. Like, we could do some
1v1.
team stuff.
I've
you
never
know.
been. So
Can I be on the
given-
Olympic team?
No,
I ain't gonna lie, I'm
not
pretty.
even close. The fact that you
Can we
would ask
flip
that
for
is
it? Can we draw
truly
straws
impressive.
for it?
No.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Okay, well, dude, thank you again for coming
thank
on
you,
and
guys.
chatting with us.
Appreciate
That
it.
was a lot of fun. You've got some pretty exciting tags coming up this year too. Not to mention,
Very blessed, very fortunate. Drew a desert sheep tag for Arizona, 13B North. So yeah,
that's pretty high in altitude, right?
it's just south of Utah, right there. So St. George, and then
What is that?
Coming.
8? That's like 8 to.
it's high desert.
Yeah, it's like 8 to 12.
It's elevation.
Yeah.
No, it's. I mean, you're probably like, I don't know, 45 to
Really?
6,000 somewhere in there. I would think.
I thought those sheep tags were higher than that.
No, this is desert.
Okay.
You know,
I'm new in the sheep game. I'm
Yeah.
new in the
Your mind's in open country, Alaska.
yeah. Well, I can tell
Way up
you
in
elk
the-
elevations and things, and mountain goat. Mountain goat's like being really high up there, but
well,
new in the sheep world.
I mean, Utah's a good place to go, right? If you want to go for a goat, that's where I'd be putting in for archery.
Noted. You know that? You
Yeah.
hear that? hear
You ever
that?
filled this tag before, or is this first?
This is a once in a lifetime
Yeah.
out of Arizona, so you can, if I don't harvest a sheep, then obviously I could still put, but one desert and one rocky out of Arizona for your lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah, which
So-
is pretty insane. Now,
No pressure.
this is archery, right?
It's rifle,
Yeah.
but my goal is to take it with a bow.
That's going to be sick. What are you changing anything about your setup? You're still going to take your RX8,
I mean, probably still going to run the RX8.
still running a 540 grain arrow.
540 grain arrow, doing 290 feet per second. I mean, it's got plenty of kinetic energy.
What broadhead are you using?
I actually really like the Severs.
Yeah, they're some of the best flyers we've ever heard.
That's been my experience. I took them to Africa, the 1.5 hybrids, and
That's what I've got.
absolutely blew through everything except a kudu, which he was at a pretty heavy angle.
Off shoulder. Yeah.
Wasn't the best of shots.
Yeah.
It was a team effort. So, but it literally blew through both shoulders, stuck out his hide. I mean, the animal's probably yay wide. They're actually pretty thin, but the distance, like all the way through,
Yeah,
fletching barely
yeah.
out, like arrow broken off, but it's sticking out this. It clipped the top of his lung, but I mean, through both shoulder blades on
That's pretty impressive.
on a kudu, which is pretty, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of that's chalked up to all that kinetic energy from your 540 grain arrow too.
I also played around and I shot some fixed blade broadheads as well. Just because, like toying around with the idea of possibly shooting a Cape Buffalo there. And you want a heavier arrow. You want as much as you could put behind it. And a two blade cut on contact's kind of the name of the game. That's what they found works really well. Same thing with like a giraffe. Like a giraffe has a super thick hide. It's like 2 inches thick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same thing with pigs in North America. Pigs have that super thick armor, they call it, up next to their rib cage from fighting. And that stuff can get to like 1.5 inches thick.
Yeah.
Some of the broadheads won't open when they go into that.
You need
penetrate.
Some heavy firepower in most instances in Africa. I'm not a big like FOC guy, but at the same time, I've been the 55 grain titanium outsert on there, and then was running a 125 head on the front, and that seems like that works pretty well.
Yeah, so you've
out
got
of
a
an 80
considerable amount of weight up front still.
Yeah.
I mean, I run the 75, those brass hit inserts that used to make.
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
can break off 75 down to 50 or 55, whatever it is. And I only use a 100 grain head up front because my arrow is so freaking heavy itself, and it still comes out to be 530 some odd grains.
Yeah.
But you've got a considerable amount up there. That's pretty good.
It seems to shoot pretty well, and
Yeah.
I mean through red hartebeest, antelope, baboon, warthog.
A baboon?
Oh yeah, pretty wild, super random. Hey, people don't realize how, I guess, vicious they really are and how destructive they are.
I've seen Jungle Book, I know.
Yeah.
He showed me the video. He torched that thing.
They tear a lot of stuff up, like thatched roofs, and like they'll just take stuff and rip out wiring, and like they wreck stuff there, and because nobody really hunts them, nobody does anything. So I was actually the first one to shoot one on it's Lufontaine Lodge in South Africa. Shout out to those guys because they're awesome. And yeah, it was the first baboon bow kill.
That's sick.
So pretty rad. Yeah, we shot a bunch of stuff. I mean, I killed 7 species in 5 days.
That's
super
wild.
target rich environment.
That's
really
wild.
great guys. Super good experience.
Take like 15 arrows with you?
I used 4 arrows.
Oh, you just reused them?
I just reused them.
You just screw on a new broadhead and go for it?
He reused the broadhead.
No, he didn't.
He
Yes,
did.
I did.
You did?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
What?
Yeah. Well, if it just
would-
blows right through and just plops on the ground, that broadhead's fine. That arrow's fine.
Yeah, still, they're like too superstitious for that mode. The arrow, the bit.
Well, the goal was to
There's some
see how many
micro-
you could get with 1 arrow and 1 broadhead.
Yeah.
Did you? Well, the
And I
severs,
won.
the severs are held. Did you hit? Were you using the magnetos?
Those didn't exist.
Okay,
in
so you
2024.
were using. All you were doing was putting those little rubber rings back on it. Got it. Okay, I'm with you now.
And obviously, if something was tore up, yes, I mean, out of those 4 arrows I used, like 2 of them got busted. The other 2 are still usable.
Yeah.
So I mean, as long as it's functional, it'll spin. You're good to go.
So you're going to shoot your sheep with a sever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting. I can't wait to hear about this. When is that hunt?
So hunt dates, it's a 30-day season, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So it's November 20th through December 10th.
And it might be a little bit, well, being in the desert in Arizona, it might be a little chilly.
Yeah, it'll be chilly at night. During the day, it'll be totally fine.
Which is bizarre. If you ever go to Arizona, it's bizarre. It's hot, then it's cold.
High desert, right?
Yeah.
So little bit different there, but I mean, there's plenty of gear.
Yeah, you're good.
It'll be all right.
Take your pick. Well, dude, again, thank you. I've said it 4 times now. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We got some pretty exciting, controversial episodes coming up. Episode 20 is going to be the Ranch Fairy. We've had 2 moderate weight mechanical broadhead manufacturers, camps, on the show so far. Evolution Outdoors and Speed broadheads. Now we're bringing the Ranch Fairy on to talk about fixed broadheads and heavy arrow setups. And then episode 21, hopefully we're going to have Dart and Archery on. We haven't nailed it down yet, but it might be Dart and Archery coming on, talking about the Tri-Tech and all that, the science behind it. And then episode 22, you're getting another Sitka rep. We're going to be talking Sitka footwear and all the exciting things you guys been seeing on Instagram here lately with all the new Sitka footwear coming out. So that's the lineup we got coming up. Chris, again, thank you so much, buddy. Good luck at all the competitions coming up. Your team's going to need it when they face me and Landon.
I'll let them know.
David versus Goliath.